remember like I was on the pitch, like tying my laces like that. I was down, and then someone tapped him in the back. So I turned round and I look up, and it's Steven Gerrard. Enrique's like pinged the ball into him like mid-air, phased it in hard, knee height. Bearing in mind, Steven Gerrard is right-footed. Yeah, he's controlled the ball with his left foot on the outside of the boot. Flipped it around Jordan Henderson, like flipped it around. Yeah, and the ball bounced once on a half volley. He's pinged it like 40 yards. Coutinho on the out wide.
Basically, didn't turn down the PSG deal. You basically missed the PSG deal.
Yeah, I missed it
because you're waiting to sign for Stoke.
Or
do you know how mad that sounds?
Agents, deals being pulled off the table.
You've gone through so much shit.
The chairman is friends with someone at Liverpool, and the reason I'm up here at Partick is because he's doing someone at Liverpool a favour by getting me out of the way. I lost my head.
Hello and welcome to the SDS podcast, the place where I interview the most interesting people in the world of sports, whether they're the actual athletes themselves or people that work in and around sport. Today I'm with an ex-professional footballer, Henoc Mukendi. He's played for the likes of Liverpool. He's played in Scotland. He's played for many teams. What's up? You good?
I'm all good, thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you for having me on today, man.
I was actually very excited to have you on, you know?
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
Yeah, I was very excited to have you on. But you're the first, obviously I've been doing this for a few weeks now, but you're the first like professional or ex-professional I've had so far. So far I've literally had like HD Cuts as a barber, I've had KGD as a personal trainer, and I've had Spencer Rowan, who's obviously a YouTuber. But it's the first like person who's come from the professional field of any sport that I've had on. So I'm actually really, really excited to chat to you. So welcome. You came down from where? Manchester today?
From Manchester,
Manchester, how's the journey? Was it good?
Yeah, it's pretty quick. An hour 45, so I can't complain.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we're going to speak about everything. So I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very good episode. If you guys are listening to the audio, feel free to follow the podcast on Spotify and iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, tuck in because it's going to be a good one. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to see more episodes and leave some comments below on who else you want me to chat to. So Henoc.
Yep.
We'll start to the beginning of your life.
Yep.
You were born in Congo.
Yep.
You were born in Congo.
Yep, DRC.
I have some Congolese friends, so I've got The only words in Lingala I know are swear words. So I'm not gonna say it. It's like everyone in it. It's like always, you know words in other language, it's always swear words. But how was that? How was growing up in Congo? Very early years in your life.
Yeah, growing up in Congo was it was an interesting time at the time in Congo. Obviously, when you're a kid, you just think it's normal, you know what I mean? But obviously, at the time when I was born in '93, it was around the time where the Civil War was starting to kick off and stuff like that. So I've got some memories of that. So lived in Congo up until about 4 or 5 years old. And then my family moved out to Zimbabwe for a few years as well. Lived in Zimbabwe for 2-3 years. Learned how to speak English in Zimbabwe. And then when I was about 7 or 8, my mum, me and my siblings, 3 of my brothers, and my mum, who moved out to the UK in 2002, I think, correctly.
Yeah, and then where did you move to in the UK?
Just for a better opportunity. So at the time where obviously, I don't know if you've seen the things with the Zimbabwean economy now. So that kicked off in 2002. So at the time, my dad was working in like import-export. He thought, you know what, I need to get my family out and give them a better life somewhere. So
that's the same with many African families. Like we moved for a better life as well because of the civil war in Somalia.
Yeah.
So whereabouts was the first place in the UK you moved to?
So when we first moved to the UK, we lived in Sheffield. Yeah, so I lived in Sheffield for a few years as well. So that's where. Yeah.
And how did, and I'm guessing that's when you got into football.
Yeah.
So speak to me about your early days of like football. So the first team you played for, how that journey happened from moving to Sheffield to live, like up until when you signed for Liverpool. You joined Liverpool.
Yeah. So I always played football like in the streets, even back in Congo, in Zimbabwe with my friends and stuff like that. Moved out to Sheffield primary school, playing the schoolyards and things like that. Back home, normal. And then I didn't start playing for a team properly until I was in year 6. So when I just turned 11, I think I was, 11 I think I was.
Yeah, you would be.
One of my friends went for a trial at like a newly formed team in the area. Before that, I just thought you had to be like amazing to play for a team. It was Sunday league. I thought you had to be amazing and this, that, the other. So my friend went for this trial and he had no one to go with because his mom couldn't take him that day. So obviously, even though I was 11, I was. As you can see, I was a big,
very tall guy. He's a very big guy.
So I was a big kid. So me and my friend have gone down, and I was just going there to watch. Because in my head, I was thinking I'm not good enough to play for this team. But when I was there, I was like doing kick-ups on the side and stuff like that. So obviously, all my friends are like all training, and the coach like comes over to me and said, "How old are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm 11." He was like, "Oh, like, do you play for a team? I said,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
So they're like, do
Join
you want
in.
to? Yeah, so I was like, yeah, like, joined in.
Yeah.
And then that same day, he gave me, like, signing on forms outside for this, like, Sunday League team.
Yeah.
And the next thing, I was playing for, like, just, it was, if I remember correctly, it was, like, the bottom leagues in Sheffield at the time.
Okay, yeah.
I was playing as a centre-back, so it was, I just wanted to play for the fun, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So that's how, like, my first team, I was 11, played there for about a year and a half, got into high school. And then when I was playing for high school, two of my friends in high school were playing for, it's basically like Sheffield United's Sunday League club called Junior Blades. Okay. So two of my friends played for them. And at that time, so when I was in year 7, we played in like the school's final for the whole of Sheffield. Okay. So like year 7, so it was in the final. Bearing in mind, so there was all the kids that played for like Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday and stuff like that. So we played against one school, and that their whole team were just academy players. Mad. And we lost 2-1 that game.
It's not a bad result.
It wasn't a bad result. I played centre back and I scored the only goal. I literally, I remember it was from like a goal kick. I just ran through everyone. Yeah. And from then on, obviously, I got signed at the Sunday League club for Sheffield United. Played there for about a year. They put me up as a centre mid / striker, so I was scoring more goals.
Yeah, moving you up.
Yeah, so moving me up. And then I got a trial, so we played at one tournament in the city. And I remember I got like the best player at that tournament, this, that, the other. So it was all like the Sunday League clubs in the city. And then Sheffield United, I think, came in first. Sheffield United came in first, and then Sheffield Wednesday came in first. I ended up trialing at both clubs. Okay. They both wanted me, but then obviously at the time, the area I lived in, Bramall Lane, Sharrow, Sheffield United was so I was more of a Sheffield United fan than the Sheffield Wednesday fan, even though like Liverpool's like my main team. So I was, in my head, I was basically going to go sign for Sheffield United, and then my family, obviously my mum met my stepdad at the time, and then we ended up moving to Manchester. Okay. So, which meant obviously because I was still 12.
And what's the traveling distance from Manchester to Sheffield?
About an hour and 20, depending on which route you go. If you go Snake Pass, it's an hour. If you go the other way, it's about an hour and a half. So obviously because I was a kid at the time, I wasn't allowed to kind of stay to sign for them. So when that happened, we moved to Manchester. I was trying to get like trials at like local clubs. So it was Bolton, Man City, United, all these kind of clubs. So I was playing Sunday. I started playing for another Sunday League club. When I was out there, I had a couple of like I said, United, Blackburn, Everton, all these teams like coming in, inquiring, and then Liverpool came in. Okay. So when the Liverpool scout came in, he was the most serious. So other people were like, oh, we'll keep watching you and this, that, the other. And at the time, I was scoring a lot of goals, playing Sunday League. It was easy. Of course, and then this Liverpool scouts come in and said, look, like, you're very raw as a talent. Like, you know what I mean? You're not like technically sick or whatever, but like, I think
we can work with you.
We can work with you.
You're
you know
big,
what I mean? So I can see something there. So he's like, you know what, we're going to give you 6 weeks on trial at Liverpool. These times I was 13. And just see how you go. Just go there every single day and give it your best shot. So I've now gone from training 1 day a week with my Sunday League team to training Monday to Friday with Liverpool. Crazy. So
how did that make you feel though, as a Liverpool fan?
It was crazy. It was surreal. Like it was. At first, I thought it was joking. I thought it was joking. You know what I mean? Because I remember the manager came to me and said, "Oh yeah, Liverpool scout wants to speak to you." So I was thinking, okay, like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's luckily like the manager handled all that kind of stuff for me, as I mentioned before. Obviously, I grew up with my mum. My dad lives in another country and stuff like that. So it was basically kind of like me and whoever was like my manager at the time dealing with it. So I've started going on trial there, so training every single day after school, and after about like 2 or 3 weeks, they've ended up pulling me in for a meeting and said, look, we've seen enough. At that point I was thinking, because usually when like my friends that was in the academies, they were telling me like, they tell you at the end of the 6 weeks. So in my head I'm thinking,
that means they don't like me.
They don't like me, I'm not going to get signed, because I remember they was telling me like, like, we're going to basically like come in for a meeting. And that day I think I had the worst training session out of my whole trial, because I was stressed thinking I'm not going to get signed. And then they've pulled me in and like, no, like at that time I think I'd played like 2 games for them, scored in each game, and they said, look, you know what, we like you. Like you've improved in the 2 weeks, like you've stepped up to the mark. So we're going to give you, I think at the time, so from under 14s to under 16s, so they gave me a 2-year deal. At the time, so I think I just remember going the next day in school, I was so gassed. I can imagine. So
signed for Liverpool.
So I signed for Liverpool, obviously the team that I'd supported. So everything like for me, I was just like thinking like, this is where I belong.
So obviously we're gonna speak about your academy process, but just for people that are watching, I want to get this in early, first 10 minutes. Can you like name some of the players you played with and against in your whole career, like in your career?
Oh, man, career.
Just some, it's a long list, but I'm saying some names so they can see how serious you are.
2 names at Liverpool. I played with Raheem Sterling, played with Henoc Mukendi.
Yeah, big names.
Played against Paul Pogba, Harry Kane, Ravel Morrison, John Stones, with and against. A lot of them, yeah. They're the ones I can just think of the top of my head.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many names, and like these are like players that are the pinnacle of football. So, and you were playing with and against all of these guys. So the first 2 names named obviously Sterling, Cody. I guess you played with them at Liverpool, obviously. So you signed the 2-year deal under 14s to under 16s. What was it like now? You're an academy player. What was it like? What was the academy process? Was it like a dream? Or was it like...
it was... When we was younger, it was like... Sometimes when I look back on it, it feels like it's a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because obviously it was training at night as well, so when you go there, it's all the lights and like people's parents, you're going out in the full kit, you know what I mean? So you'll have to come training in the full kit and everything. So it was... at that time, it was... Looking back, I didn't really take it in. You know what I mean? I was just going along with it, if that makes sense, but trying my best every single day. So it was, looking back on it now, I feel like if I could do it again, like the younger days, I'd definitely like try and take it in and live it more, because it was an amazing time, definitely.
Yeah. So how did it go? So how did those first 2 years go? For you to, obviously I'm guessing then they kept you on after that because you were there for a while. How did it go those first 2 years? What did you do spectacular, or what happened? Must be good enough for you to get more.
Yeah, so with me, because I've played in different positions, so I went on trial there as a left winger, because I was playing left wing.
That's a tall winger.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not as fast now, but back then I was rapid.
So you're tall and fast.
Yeah, so I was tall, fast, powerful. Yeah. So I went in there on trial as a winger, and as left wing, and I told him, I can play up front as well.
Are you left-footed as well?
Left-footed as well, amazing. So I can play up front. I've played at the back first. I've also played. So in that time between under 14s and under 16s, so I mainly played as an attacker, but then if I needed to be, I could play as a left back. So I remember under 15s, I played half of the season as a left back.
Wow.
So I'd play for under 15s on the left wing and under 16s as a left back. So I was playing for the year up when I'm out of position.
Yeah.
So that's when I got to like I said, I was playing up with like Henoc Mukendi, the Andrew Wisdoms, all them kind of people, John Flanagan. So, and I was getting a lot of experience playing out of position. So I was like, you know what I mean? I was improving me as a player.
Of course.
So then when it got to under 16s, so that's like the year when, so that was the final year of my contract, and the year where you get told if you're getting your scholarship.
Yep.
So with me, I got told I was getting my scholarship 3rd game into the season.
Okay.
So they just took the weight completely off my back.
Yeah, exactly.
So because I'd done really well under 14s, done really well at under 15s.
Yeah.
It was new people that had come in as well. So it was the guy that came in is now the Manchester City assistant manager. So a guy called Rodolfo Borrell.
Yep.
So he was before that. He was
Pep's assistant.
Yeah, Pep.
So he was coaching you.
So he was coaching. So he was our manager, and they ran the academy for 2-3 years. So for anyone who doesn't know, so they're the ones that brought through the likes of Messi, Fabregas, Gerrard, PK, all these like Barcelona. And funny story actually, just going ahead. When we was in the youth team, I remember we used to speak about like obviously what was Messi like, what was Fabregas like. And then one thing I remember he told us, he said, in terms of youth players that he's seen in terms of ability, Messi's number 1, and the second one is Raheem Sterling.
Mad.
Like, this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he literally told, and I remember Raheem was like sitting near the front, and we was talking about like, in terms of like raw ability, football ability. Said Messi was scary as a kid.
Yeah.
When he said the second, like, when you see like scary ability,
you see it,
Raheem, you know what I mean?
That's insane.
Yeah, so these lot came in, so they've obviously like seen me, had a chat with them. And I remember that season, the first 12 games, I was just scoring each game, bam, bam, bam. But after the 3rd game, they pulled me in for a meeting and said, look, we really like you. You want to improve every day. You're hardworking. Yeah. And you're not one of them that complains if you're going to play out of position. You know what I mean? So they turned around to me and said, look, obviously at the time you live in Manchester, we're obviously going to offer you your 2-year extension and your scholarships. It's going to be full-time. Yeah. But we want you to be full-time as of now. So we're going to bring you move you from Manchester to go and live in Liverpool. You're going to move schools. You're going to a couple of times a week you're going to train with the youth team. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So when they've told me this,
Yeah.
I remember like going home, I was crying and
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Of
So
course.
I was just gassed, you know what I mean.
Of
So I've ended up moving schools to a little like village just outside Liverpool called Rain Hill. So Rain Hill was like, you know, looking back on it, it was a good time, but it was a bit of a it was a bit more difficult.
Yeah, what was that? I was gonna say, what was that transition like?
So obviously, like the areas that I grew up in were like predominantly like multicultural, black, Asian, white, everyone like in together. So then moving to Rain Hill was more difficult because I was the only black kid in my year in school.
Oh wow!
And then there was two other black kids in the school. One was Raheem Sterling, and the other one was Dave Molly at the time. So him and Raheem lived together. And they was the year below me. So there was just us three. And the school was like of 1,000 kids. There's three black black people. You know what I mean? So that was quite hard to like get used to, get adjusted to. Because
so you guys must have really, especially you and Raheem, must have really like kept close together because obviously you guys were both at the same school, playing for Liverpool. There's only a year between, so the same age.
So we was in the. So Raheem played up. So Raheem was in my team.
So he was in your team anyway. So you went to the same school. So you guys must have a really close bond.
So especially like them young years, especially like I feel like we really helped each other to get through that time. You know what I mean? So to progress on, because obviously like Raheem came all the way from London, Dave came from Luton, so them two lived like in the same house, and I lived like a couple of roads away, so we'd walk to school together, walk home together, go to training, go shopping on a weekend, go for food, all that kind of stuff. So we got really close at that time. It was, looking back on it, it was good. Don't get me wrong, because obviously you go into a new school and obviously like people trying to like know you are, but there was also a lot of like, we dealt with racist situations.
Yeah, like so that must have been tough because obviously, like I said, there wasn't many of you like black kids in your school, and on top of that, you guys were footballers.
Footballers as well, yeah.
So was there like media hassling you guys in school, like on your?
Yeah, so starting with the media. So I remember the week that Raheem came. Yeah, because I think I moved to the school about 3 weeks before Raheem came, and then Raheem signed, and then when Raheem started, the media around that was crazy. Like,
and how old is he? Must have been.
Raheem was 14. I think at the time, 14 or 15. So I'd just turned 16. Yeah, and it was crazy. So obviously, like I said, we were the only 3 black kids in the school. Yeah, we go there in uniform. Yeah. So I remember really like the first day he came. I was walking home, so he didn't. He went to school, but he got pulled out at 12:30, so he only done half a day. Okay. But obviously, someone in the school must have told the medias or whatever. Someone must have told to them like, look, Raheem Sterling's in the school. Yeah. After school, whatever. And I remember as I was walking home, there was like a van went past, like speed and then like slowed down near me, and that guy was hanging out with the camera. Filming me walking. Obviously, they must have thought I was much taller, but they obviously didn't realize after that it wasn't him. Yeah. And I was just thinking like, what? Like, you know what I mean? It was a certain newspaper that we don't speak of, but literally like hanging at the camera, like I guess. Trying to, you know what I mean? That went on for like a good 2-3 weeks, like literally like following like children home, you know what I mean? That's mad. And then at the time when he came, there was a lot of like, not a lot, but there was a small group of kids in the area, in the school that were like very jealous, and so they resorted to trying to like racially abuse us online and stuff like that. That's mad, because they hear about this. Yeah, obviously, So like trying to get your number. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there was one. So basically, in the end, because obviously I was in year 11, so I completed school with Raheem. He won't mind saying about this, but Liverpool ended up having to pull him out of school because I dealt with a racist incident where basically someone brought in a weapon to try and do something to me in school, and then he basically like ran away.
Well, based on jealousy,
yeah. Like he claimed that I was I'm not a bully for first of all. I'm nice to everyone. So he tried to claim that I was like bullying his little brother or something like that. I didn't know he even had a little brother. Yeah. And then he brought in a knife to the school basically. This is in year 11 to try and basically stab me. And I felt like he tried to scare me basically more than anything. I like looking at it, because when he pulled out, I was just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Of course. And then he ended up running away, but it was all caught on CCTV. So obviously like Liverpool got involved, they took him to court. Yeah. And then waiting off to end up, basically his parents end up having to pay like compensation and stuff like that. Obviously Liverpool's got the best lawyers, so. But then that week when that happened, because I said before, we was all like dealing with stuff. Yeah. So I got pulled out of school for that week, and then Raheem and Dave was still in school. So there was one day when Raheem was walking home on his own. So another that same group of boys, someone who'd left the school the year before, we lived in the area. Yeah. So he's bumped into Raheem on the way home, started hurling abuse at Raheem, calling him all sorts of racial names, and basically ended up spitting at him. This is, bear in mind, Raheem's 15 at this point.
That's mad. Yeah.
Spat at him. And just to cut a long story short, I seen that same kid 2 weeks later. He had 2 black eyes. So, so you know what happened there.
Yeah,
but,
well, good.
Yeah, so that's
he deserved it.
Yeah, so that's like, you know what I mean, all like deserved. So like, these are the things that we like had to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, so people don't really speak about these kind of things.
Of course.
So when you see like fans hurling abuse at Raheem now, it's not the first time. You know what I mean? We've dealt with it.
That's what I'm saying, because with, especially with like Raheem, everyone knows this guy's been dealing with stuff from the media for years. Like, he can do anything. He'll go shop at Poundland, which is absolutely fine. Like, you can get some bargains there. I bought bundles of crisps and sweets for £1. I'm always shopping at Poundland. But suddenly that's all over the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything he does all over the newspaper. So we all know that, but I didn't know that was happening when he was in school.
Yeah, in school, it happened when he was in school. So like I said, someone trying to attack you and spit on you, someone coming into me to bring a knife into school, all these kind of things. So it makes you tough, you know what I mean?
And that must have made you guys closer as well.
Yeah,
because you guys aren't making other friends in school, you're staying within yourselves.
After, especially at that point, when if one of us wanted to go to the shop, all 3 of us are going. If we wanted to go and play in the park, all 3 of us are going. If you want to walk to do whatever, we're walking to school, all 3, you know what I mean? So we're going together, so we didn't leave each other's side at that time. All 3 were like a unit. So if you'd seen one of us, you're seeing the rest, you know what I mean? So I think that was like our little like a little family at the time, you know what I mean? So then youth team, so obviously like I said, that's finished school, and then youth team years have started. So then Raheem got pulled out of year 11. So he didn't do year 11, he just started training with us full time. And then he was doing his education at the club. Like tutors and stuff. It makes more sense because he's already showing the ability that he can go the whole way. But so the first, so the year obviously like in the youth team, we had a very, very solid youth team. So I remember the 2 years when we was there, the first year. So like I said, in the youth team, we had so it was like me, Adam Morgan, Raheem
good goal scorer, by the way, Adam Morgan.
Elite striker.
Yeah, I used to watch him I always watched all of you guys on LFC TV. I remember.
Yeah, literally Google that.
Adam Morgan was a good player. I liked him.
So it's like me, Adam Morgan, Michael Ngu, a kid called Tony Silva, Portuguese kid, ridiculous ability. Like I said, Connor Cody.
Connor Cody was a midfielder, wasn't he?
Centre mid.
Yeah, because he's centre back now. But I remember when I was watching, he was a centre mid and he was a captain. I was like, that's the next Steven Gerrard.
Literally, like he had that aura about him. Like Connor's one of them people you always knew was going to make it. Because he had the ability, but he also had the personality characteristics to go.
The professionalism.
He's probably the most professional player I've come across in the whole of football.
That's mad.
Literally, his professionalism is ridiculous. He deals with everyone the same.
That's why he's captain everywhere he goes.
Exactly. So, and it's no surprise now. Like I said, he's a captain, playing for England, all that kind of stuff. It's no surprise. So like I said, John Flanagan. Like
we had a bit of success in the first team as well.
So Danny Ward, the goalkeepers now at Leicester. So we had a really good youth team. So that year it was really, really competitive. The first 6 months it was like everyone was in and out. So I, at that time, was it the first year? So I was, obviously, I'm tall now, but I was growing even more back then. So I had a lot of the first 6-7 months, I had a lot of growing pains. I had a lot of issues with my groin and stuff like that. So some days I'd be in and out of the team, stuff like that. So then after that, I was thinking, okay, maybe I might not get a pro year because obviously I'm not playing as many games as I am. I can't.
So were you thinking that when you were playing?
So, and it wasn't due to even my ability and stuff like that. It's just due to the opportunities. I couldn't quite stay fit. So because I couldn't stay fit, I'm in and out. When I do get back fit, someone else is doing really well, and it wouldn't be fair to, you know what I mean. But I've always trusted to back my own ability, you know what I mean. So I'd have honest conversations with the coach and be like, okay, cool, I'm doing well in training or this, that, the other, you know what I mean. And then with Rodolfo as well as a manager, he's always very honest with you, and he gives everyone a proper chance. And so when that was going on, I think it was in first year. So I was meant to go out on loan to Barnsley that year, but then I got back fit, luckily, and then at the same time, one of the wingers, this was like second half of the season, in the first year, one of the wingers got injured. So then the remaining half of that first year, I played quite a few games and I did quite well. We lost the league by 1 point that year.
To who?
To Everton.
Oh, and all people as well.
On the last day of the season, so we needed to win.
Yeah.
And we drew 2-2. So I remember I scored 2 goals that day, and we literally lost. Played against Wolves, and then we lost the league by 1 point. Youth Cup that year, we lost in the quarterfinals. Us in United that year, literally, I'd say we had the best like youth teams in the country.
Yeah.
I remember at the time, at the beginning of the season.
What kind of players did United have at those times?
So their squad was ridiculous. Like, so they had Ravel Morrison, Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Lionel Cole, Will Keane.
Crazy.
Sam Johnston was the keeper now. Yeah, so like
a ridiculous team.
Their team was just
insane.
Ability everywhere. Funny story about that game. So I was speaking to Ravel the night before. This is like BBM days back in the day. And so he was just like chatting to me like, what's your team like? Back and forth and this, that, the other. And then the guy turned around to me and he goes, in the first half, I'm not going to do anything. But second half, I'm going to rip into your team. And I'm thinking, obviously, he's a good player, don't get me wrong. I was like, allow it, man. Like, our team's sick as well. So basically, the guy did what he said he was going to do. So we was winning. I think it was 2-0. We was beating them at half time. They ended up beating us 3-2. He scored 2 and set up 1. Like,
that is like, I've heard loads of stories about Ravel Morrison. I've heard like he was the best player in that team. He was better than Pogba.
Ability was scary.
The best player in that team. And that just backs it up.
He literally said like the night before, I'm not going to do nothing first half. Second half, I'm going to rip into your team, and literally did
exactly what he said.
Literally did just that.
What a player!
Scored 2, set up 1. So can't. But yeah, that year, like us in United, like I remember there was one game we played in the league. They beat us, I think it was 4-5-0. At their place, and then we played them at our place. We beat them 6-1. So it was like. It was just whoever got the better each other on the day.
On the day,
because the ability in both squads is just scary. So that was the first year. Then obviously the right stuff kind of coding. I'm like, got the pros. They moved up, and I became a second year scholar. Still, I hadn't been told if I'd got my pro or not. So I kept battling on, kept going on, and then same thing again with my groin. So beginning the season, I think it was more like pre-season and the hardships of it. So I had the same conversation again. So look. What's going on, if you decided on me or not, and it was like we're still not quite undecided. And obviously with me, if I feel like I'm doing well, because I've seen it with players where we'll play 10-12 games and next to you got a pro contract, you know what I mean? So if I'm doing well, I'd like to kind of know where I'm at, and then if I'm not playing regularly, then let me know where I'm at as well. So I took the choice to go to Barnsley for a month.
And is that why you played at John Stones?
Yeah, so when I went out there, played a couple of games. So I think their youth team was actually really good that year. So they had like John Stones, Ruben Lazarus, Jordan Clark, Danny Rose. So these are all players that are playing in the league now. Like crazy ability. Ruben made his first team debut for Barnsley when he was like 15, 14. Like if you watch clips of him, you'll see like a crazy ability. So I went to Barnsley for a month. I played a couple of games, scored a few goals, and I'd done really well. So then I've come back to Liverpool. And then Dave now turned around to me and said, "Boom, we're going to offer you a contract." Mad. But these times I'm like, okay, like...
Yeah, of course.
Like, okay, like... and then they told me the reason why, like, when I've gone out to Barnsley, because I'd been at Liverpool, I think that point I'd been there like 4 or 5 years, all the other teams got wind of it and they thought I was leaving. So they've obviously sending the scouts out to come watch me. So Barnsley themselves offered me a 1-year pro contract for the next year. Sheffield United offered me a 3-year deal. Wednesday offered me 2 years. Derby offered me 2 years. Notts Forest offered me 2 years. Leicester offered me 3 years. So there was like 7 or 8 teams that were like sniffing around. And then obviously Liverpool, they was having the conversation with Liverpool. So I think the more serious ones at the time were Sheffield United and Leicester. Obviously going back to Sheffield, and obviously Leicester were a big club. So I had that conversation with him, and then the guy at the time, Frank McParlin, said to me, "Look, like you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? You've been here for so long. We all love you at the club, and you're only improving and getting yourself better. Obviously, we know about your injury situations, and we've got the best like physios and stuff like that, and they really looked after me. And obviously, I was getting better with my groins and less niggles and stuff like that. So they said, look, you're not going anywhere. We're going to offer you a 2-year deal. So they offered me a better deal than half of the other clubs had offered me as well. Anyway, so I thought, you know what? I'm comfortable here. Yes.
So you had loads of offers on the table?
Yes, I had loads of offers on the table. So like I said before, I had So when I come back from Barnsley themselves offered me a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Sheffield United offered me 3 years.
Yeah.
Wednesday offered me 2 years. Derby 2 years. Notts Forest 2 years. Leicester 3 years. So I had like 7-8 teams like on the table. Like we spoke to. The more serious ones that we talk like figures and stuff like that were Leicester and Sheffield United. So at the time, obviously, because I've been at Liverpool for a certain amount of years, Liverpool was asking for a figure for me if they were that serious. So obviously at the time, Leicester and Sheffield United were like, well, if he doesn't sign a deal with you guys, then we can just get him on a free or whatever. But then obviously, with me being a Liverpool fan and I've been there for years since the bigger of clubs, and I was doing pretty well at the time, so I thought, you know what, Liverpool offered me 2 years, so I thought, you know, I'll take that. And then once that's happened, we've then sat down and then they've come up with a plan for me. So the first year plan was for me to go out on loan to somewhere in England for like 3 months, which was Northampton. Before Northampton, sorry. So the original plan, was for me to go out on loan to Belgium. So if you know anything about Belgium, it's a team called Royal Antwerp. So Antwerp used to have a deal with Man United years ago, where all United's youth team players, so as soon as you sign a pro, they send you up to Antwerp.
So like Chelsea and Vitesse?
Yeah,
similar
exactly.
kind of thing, okay.
But United started that with Antwerp years ago, so like 10, like if you look back on like the United players, a lot of them have been out on loan to Antwerp. So I met with the Antwerp people.
And that must have made a bit of sense for you because I'm getting with Congolese people in Belgium.
So I got cousins there. I speak French, so it would have made sense. So the Antwerp people, they came. I remember towards the end of the season when I was in the youth team, they spoke with me. They told me the plan. Look, you're gonna come here. You're gonna play here for between here until November. This, that, the other. Smash it.
So what happens with when you sign a 2-year deal with Liverpool? So what is do you give it a deal and then they go, this is the plan for you in those 2 years. We're going to loan you for this time to this time. And then we're going to go. Is there like a plan they set out?
With me, there was initially. So this was even before I even signed the deal. When I had the meeting with them for them to let me know that I'm going to get a deal, they told me the reasons why they was offering. They said, look, you've gone out. You've proved to us. We didn't want you to go out on to Barnsley, but you've gone out. You showed that you're hungry to make it. You've done well there, and then other teams are now like trying to sniff in on you. Like we're not letting you go anywhere. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that?
They realize now they got an asset.
Exactly. So I was an asset. So they now sat down with me and said, "Look, give us like a week or two. We've got a plan for you. We'll come back to you." So then they said, "Look, Royal Antwerp don't want to take you. I think I can't remember if it was in the first or second division in Belgium at the time, but the big club." So when that's happened, like I said, I spoke with the people at Antwerp, and I was meant to go there for pre-season and then speak and obviously like play there for a couple of months. And then after that, when I come back from Antwerp, I was meant to go off to America. To go to what they're called, New York Cosmos. So I think they're in this USL, it's called. So it's like the second division there as well. So the same thing with them. They came over, spoke with them. This, that, the other. Like it was all set. So for me to go from
Belgium first and then America.
Exactly. Go Belgium for 3-4 months. Come back. Go to America in November. That would have been like my first year of my pro. And then my second year, I'd come back, see how I've developed. And then let's see whether I'm ready to kick on and train with the first team, play reserves, or maybe go out on loan to a League One team or something like that in the UK. So that was my 2-year plan at the time. And then obviously, like I think if I went to Belgium and America and done well, I'd probably got another extended pro, which is what usually happens. So that was like the plan there. So this was like, when I got offered, this was like March. So we still got a bit to go to the season, to end the season. So obviously now I'm gassing, I got my pro. I know I'm going to be a professional footballer now. Like the rest of the season went by, like calm. The next minute, at the time, the agent that I had they had a big agency. I can't remember what the name was. Forgot the name, but they had a couple of like big players.
And was that the first agent you had?
Yeah, it was the first agent I'd signed with. So at the time I think I was 17, 18. So that was the first like proper agent I'd signed with. So I remember at the time they had like loads of like Chelsea youth players as well, a couple of first team players. So I think I remember that the likes of like Lewis Baker at the time, Harry Kane at the time. So we was all like on the same agency. So I used to come down to London a lot to like see them and stuff. But then with them, I'd only been with them for a certain amount of time. But then obviously when I've done the negotiations for like spoke about my pro contract, because they weren't getting the cut out of the pro deal, basically, or they weren't going to get agency fees because I'd only been with them for a certain amount of time and they didn't get the deal for me, like the relationship with them went a bit sour, if that makes sense. So obviously I was expecting them to come down and negotiate my professional contract for
as
me.
they should. That's
this, that, the other. Yeah, but they never came and do that. So I negotiated my own professional contract as a 17, 18-year-old.
But that's not right, surely.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know, you wouldn't know the first thing about dealing with contracts and clauses and terms at that age.
So when that happened, so that was like, I was a bit stressed.
Yeah,
you know what
of
I mean?
course.
So, but then I spoke with a guy at the time who was the academy director, the guy called Frank McParland. I said, look, the agents aren't going to come and negotiate this, that, the other. And he said, you know what, like, to be fair, he liked me, you know what I mean? He said, look, I'm not going to put you on no contract where we can do you dirty or whatever, this, that, the other. I'm going to put certain clauses in your contract. Like, I will explain to you exactly what it is. So I remember at the time I sat down with one of the club's like secretaries and lawyers, went through every point. This means this means that. So I understood what I was signing. So it was all like sick, laid out. I negotiated pretty decent money. And it really took care of me at the time. So I've then signed my 2-year deal. And then 3 weeks later, the manager at the time, so the first team manager at the time was Kenny Dalglish. So he had to sign off on all the players that get pro contract. So he approved me getting a pro deal. He used to watch me since we was like youth team. He'd give us advice, all that kind of stuff. So we had a good relationship with the first team manager. So like I said, the time,
and he might have helped you because he was a big striker as well.
So he used to
similar to you.
Yeah, so he used to come and watch our youth team games. Yeah, and I remember there was one game where we played when we was under 17s, and he's so obviously we've gone in at half time, but he's pulled me aside. Okay, and then he's like, because basically there was a goal that I scored. I'm left-footed. Yeah, but then we played against, it was like a pre-season game against Shrewsbury. So I'm in the box and I've run near post and I've pulled off, and then the guy who took the corners drilled it to me edge of the box and I volleyed it right foot. I banged it in the top corner. So I've gone off, like done like a mad celebration because I was gassed. And then Kenny Dalglish pulled me at half time and he said, why was you, like, you looked like you were surprised that you did that. Why was you surprised? I said, like, obviously it was my weaker foot. And I've explained to him. It goes, but you shouldn't be surprised because you've intended to do it. Of course, you know what I mean? So you need to have more belief in yourself, more belief in your ability, because like you said, I watched the movement, everything, this, that, the other. So, and like I said, everything that you set out to do, then you did it, you know what I mean? So you need to believe more in yourself. So he always give me like little bits of advice. But that's good. That means like, if it's coming to you and talking to you, giving you words of wisdom like this, it means he likes you. Yeah, definitely. Right? So that must have been good for you to hear from the first team manager. Exactly, yeah. So, and Kenny Dalglish was amazing with all the like the youth team players. Obviously, we've been a Liverpool legend as well. So like the likes of like Adam Morgan, he was amazing with Adam. Yeah, it was amazing with everyone else. You know what I mean? So that was great. So obviously, I was like knowing that, and then also I even played under him as well, because before he was the first team manager, he managed the reserves as well. Okay, yeah. I played for a couple of games for the reserves under Kenny Dalglish. So it was just like I was excited because I know that if I'd done well, I'd get rewarded because you've got the right manager there. But after I signed my pro, he gets sacked basically. Yeah, and this is what I find crazy in football that people don't even realize. It's like, as fans, we see a manager get sacked, new manager comes in, nothing changes for us. Yeah. We still support the team, whatever. Like that's for us, it doesn't change. But for the players, when a new manager comes in, that can change their whole path in football. Like, you could be in favour, this manager likes you, that's his playing style, he likes your play. A new manager comes in and it's like everything's gone. It's like he likes this new player now. Yeah. You're out of favour, and we don't notice that. We don't realize that as fans. We just think manager comes the same people. No, it's like it's a whole different thing. So I'm guessing that's what you're gonna go into. Kenny Dalglish was good with you. Amazing, yeah. He gets sacked. Who comes in? Brendan Rodgers comes in. Yes, so I remember. The minute Brendan comes in, we're like staff in the academy getting sacked. People just getting sacked left, right, and centre. So we're all like, whoa. And obviously, we know that he's got an attractive style of play. Yeah, but he doesn't like tall players, tall attackers and stuff like that. So is that because he's small himself? Probably. I'd probably put it down to that, you know what I mean? So maybe he's very small. Yeah, literally. So he's when he's come in, obviously like with Kenny Dalglish, he had like Andy Carroll. The big striker. Yeah, so he had like Michael. That's why I might be looking at you. Yeah, so like I remember, so sometimes we'd train with the first team, and so like it was like I'm 6'5", Andy Carroll 6'5". We had Michael and 6'6". We had a lot of big strikers, you know what I mean? But then when Brendan's come in, we already like hearing it around the club, like, yo, like this, like, basically shit, like stuff's gonna change. You know what I mean? And so when that's happened, basically the plan for me to go to Belgium gets wiped off the table because the academy director at the time, he don't know if he's gonna be in his job or not. You know what I mean? So when that's happened, he's then come to me and said, look, the Belgian plan's off the table, but like, and we think like a lot of like basically, I'm probably gonna be gone soon as well. Yeah. he's coming in with a new playing style, doesn't like big strikers, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Like, so your opportunities, like, in terms of like your plan, they may not have a plan for you, you know what I mean? But I'm going to help you out. I'm going to send you out on loan to Northampton.
And where were Northampton playing at the time? What did
League 2 at the time. So he said,
yeah,
you're going to go to Northampton next week. We're going to send you out there.
Yeah.
AD Boothroyd, obviously,
England.
Yeah, under 21s, I think, yeah. So at the time, so it was AD Boothroyd and Andy King. They're going to look after you like proper. They're going to like,
of course, yeah.
they're going to mature you properly, you know what I mean? So you're going to go out there, you're going to learn your trade, this, that, just so I'm like, thanks for the opportunity, and I'm ready for it, you know what I mean? Originally, when I I feel like when I went to Northampton, I went there for 6 months. I feel like I was only needed really for like a month or two, because obviously when I went there, they had like 1 or 2 wingers like that were injured.
Yeah.
So when I went to Northampton, like amazing club, I was welcomed really well. Played with the likes of Akin Fenwa there. Kemal Roof came out with me on loan. So there was a couple of us that was young and went out on loan. Well. Yeah, so he's flying. Yeah. So went there. So like I said, Northampton, amazing club. AD was amazing with me, and the King was top class with me. Really helped me like improve my mental side of my game and like really focus and stuff like that. So played predominantly on the left, as a left winger. Scored 1 in the cup. Played FA Cup games. Played League Cup games. Played in the league. You know what I mean? So played against like big teams in the pre-season, playing against West Ham. You know what I mean? All these kind of things. So like I really like learn.
So that was a good loan spell.
Yeah, it was a good loan spell for me. So like I said, felt like I was only really needed for the first 3 months, because that's when I played most of my football. The last month or two I didn't really play as much, but I was always in the squad because I was doing really well. So I was never like not in the squad. So I was always I was always, if I'm not starting, I'm on the bench to come on. You know what I mean? So I was always involved. And so like I said, I played like 14, 15 games altogether. Then I've gone back to Liverpool. After that, obviously we spoke with Northampton about possibly bringing me back for the next season. Yeah. Because I was like, look, I don't know what's going to happen with me at Liverpool when I get back. But obviously, he was like, yeah, if they release you, we'd look to sign you or whatever. And then, like a week or two before I went back to Liverpool, I've called like the people that were like my point of contact, and they're saying, yeah, there's a new manager in the reserves now. So these times
at Liverpool,
so the guy that was our manager before, he's been sacked now as well. Yeah. The academy director, the one who sent me to Northampton, he's been sacked. Gone. Yeah. So there's basically a load of new faces at the club. But I'm being told that the guy that is in charge now is looking forward to coming and seeing me. Yeah. He's watched a couple of my games at Northampton.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's Alex Inglethorpe.
Alex Inglethorpe.
Came from Spurs.
From Spurs, correctly.
From Spurs.
Yeah.
That's
correct.
That's when the only reason I know that is I was at college playing at it's Tottenham's development. Like it's not academy, but it's like the college scheme. And Alex Inglethorpe was I think under 18s manager at Spurs or something.
Yeah, so Alex was under 18s manager and Tim Sherwood was reserve manager.
Yeah, and Tim Sherwood was the under 21s, and so my age was 17, 18 at college, and some of my teammates from college was on trial at Spurs under Alex Inglethorpe. Yeah. And one of my specific friends was on trial under Alex Inglethorpe, and then I think like the last 2 weeks of his trial, Alex Inglethorpe went to Liverpool. Okay. So his trial kind of got cancelled because new guy came. The guy that passed away. He came to Spurs. And he wasn't looking for trialists. Yeah. So it's crazy how our paths crossed. It's like when I was at college, Alex Inglethorpe was the coach there. But then now at that time he went over to Liverpool, and then that's when he came back from loan. So so then what happened? Yeah, so obviously I'm being told. So he was excited to meet you.
That's what I'm getting told. So I'm thinking, okay, and that's good because I'm 18 or I think I just turned 19, so I'm still, fresh. Like but I've just like knuckled down in League 2. If you've ever watched League 2 football, there's not much like technical football gets played. Of course. Long balls and you know what I mean. At Liverpool, we never used to play long balls. I never used to play with my back to goal, so I had to learn all that. You know what I mean? And I was really like, I got that basis from there. So I was playing with the likes of Akin Fenwa, like all these people. You know what I mean? Even Akin Fenwa was amazing with me. Like sometimes he'd come talk to me after training, like give me advice on certain things, lifestyle, eat, how to play, how to do that. You know what I mean? So he was like, at the time, he was like, because obviously I think Akin Fenwa was like 10 years older than me, so he's like a big brother to us. So all the young players there, so like me, Kemal Roof, and take us out for food to Nando's. You know what I mean? Like literally, like he's a
great guy. Akin Fenwa,
great guy. So even to this day, we still speak and stuff like that. So, so Northampton, all in all, was a great experience for me. So I'm going back to Liverpool now, thinking I'm going to kick on. I'm going to play reserves for the remaining 6 months. I'm going to smash it, and then hopefully earn a new deal or be progressed up to the first team, because I was like, I wanted to prove Brendan Rodgers wrong, because even though I hadn't worked with him yet, obviously my friends are still telling me like, like he's proper like set on like not having big strikers. Andy Carroll got sent to West Ham. Michael Lingu got sent to Hearts. You know what I mean? So like he was getting rid of them all. You know, but in my head I'm thinking, I'm not playing as a striker at the time. I'm playing as the left winger. I'm pretty quick. Like I got a good delivery. You know, so I'm thinking, you know what? I think I can be a different asset for him if possible. I get back to the club. This is like December times. Within 3 days of me being back to the club, Alex brings me for a meeting. And then he's like, yeah, so how do you think your loan went? I'm like, oh, do you know what? I think it was really good. I learned a lot of things. And I think I'm looking forward to showing you and the club what I've learned, sort of thing, you know what I mean? And he goes, yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Like, I think he had a really good loan as well. But obviously, as you can see, like, things have changed around the club, even how the club looks and changing rooms, a lot of things have changed. So yeah, whilst I agree with you that you had a good loan, things have changed at the club in the direction that we're going in. So just to let you know that basically when your contract's up in 18 months, you're going to get released.
What?
So this is me 6 months into my deal.
He's still got another year and a half.
Year and a half.
And he's telling you now that in a year and a half, no matter what you do,
you're going to get released.
You're going to get released.
Yeah. So.
But how does he know what's going to happen in the year and a half?
Exactly.
You could turn out to be incredible.
Exactly. So at the time, I'm only 18, 19. I'm still learning. I'm still improving.
You're still growing.
I'm still growing. It literally, like, you know what I mean? So I've not physically fully developed. I'm tall, but I'm still quite skinny. You know what I mean? So I've not fully developed yet. So when he said that to me, I was like a bit shocked. I remember I took like a minute. And I was thinking, like, okay, like, So, but obviously, knowing that I've come back from Northampton, I was getting, like, I remember a lot of messages from like, even different agents or people. So I know that my market value had gone up. And
of course.
6 months prior to that, obviously, like I said, I had offered some other clubs anyway. So I've turned around to him and I said, look, obviously, I appreciate your honesty and your opinion. Obviously, and I respect your position as my manager. But if that's the case, then the club may as well pay me off now, and I'll go elsewhere.
Like as well, that makes sense.
That's not a problem.
There's no point me staying here for 18 months.
Yes, I'd never had
go somewhere now while my market value is high. I like your thinking, man.
I'd never had a problem with leaving Liverpool. I support the club till now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But I'd never had a problem with backing my own ability and doing
going somewhere else and making it there.
So I was turning to them and literally remember, like, it was me and him in the office. Like, I was like, look, you may as well release me now. Like, pay me off, because the money you'd pay me off would be life-changing money. I could buy my mum a house and sign for someone else and I'm fine. You know what I mean? He said to him and said, no, the club's not in a position right now to pay you off.
Liverpool Football Club
is
not in the position to pay off the rest of an 18-year-old's contract.
It'd have been less than 100 grand probably. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying. So that's obviously not true.
Obviously not true.
So he said to you, we're not giving another contract after this one expires. So we've got no plans for you here in the future. But we're not going to let you go
either. So obviously when that's happened, I remember like speaking to the agent. The agent knows him, because obviously they both. Alex was, like I said, he was at Tottenham. My agent at the time had loads of players at Tottenham. Harry Kane at Tottenham. So this is where it gets quite funny. So Alex knows Harry Kane really well. Because obviously he'd probably played under him and stuff like that. So it became a thing where, like, Alex is now turning around to me and saying, tell your agent to come up and speak to us about your future. Instead of, because obviously at the time Harry Kane was due to sign a big deal at Tottenham. Instead of worrying about Harry Kane's contract, this, that, the other, Harry Kane's going to be fine. You're the one that needs the help from your agent right now. But in my head, I said to him, like, look, I negotiated my own pro contract.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more than capable of negotiating my release clause. I can do the maths and know what I'm owed. You know what I mean? So like, why don't you just deal with me?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So obviously at the time, so then the agent's like ignoring my calls as well, because I feel like he was probably needing favours from Alex, or Alex has done him favours in the past or whatever. So obviously they knew each other, you know what I mean? So now the agent's ignoring my calls, he's not texting me back. They said, you know what I mean? So like, so
of course.
That's obviously my bad experience with the agent now. And then I'm not playing, so I'm just training every day with the reserves, training Monday to Saturday, so 6 days a week.
You're not playing matches?
Not playing matches. Not even on the bench. Like, it's not even that, like, not even on the bench.
So what's that? What does that do for an 18-year-old's mental health? What does that do? What did that do for your mental?
I was like,
because you're kind of you're blackballed. You're stuck.
in my own club, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're stuck.
I'm still having to
And it's
travel
a club
to
who
games.
you've been there since you were 13.
Yeah,
They owed you at least a bit of like
a bit of respect at
Yeah,
least, you know what I mean?
of
Because I'm
course.
18, I'm young, but I'm still a man, you know what I mean?
yeah, of course.
So, and then at the time, our reserve squad wasn't big either, because the year before that, under Kenny, at least they narrowed down the reserve squad, because back in the day, they used to have like 30, 40 players in the reserves who were on big money. So the money they started paying the reserves at Liverpool at the time was much less, and the squad was only 10, 12 players.
Yeah.
So they'd take players from the youth team and then put them up. You know,
Yeah.
that's why, like I said before, I was able to play for the reserves at 16, 17,
Yeah.
18, here and there, because when there was decreasing the side, they needed other players from that youth team and stuff like that. So if I didn't play for the youth team, I'd play for the reserves. So I was always playing.
Yeah, of course.
So when that happened, Alex is now playing players from the youth team above me,
Above you.
like bringing play. You know what I mean? So I'm training every single day, 6 days a week, but then he'd bring players in to start above me. He'd even fill up the bench with players before he puts me on the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going through this every day for the remaining 6 months of my first year.
The first year.
Yeah, they won't let me go back out on loan, nothing like that. I've tried, they're not letting it happen. So obviously, like I've kind of lost my head a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's happened, and the season's finished. That year, I remember correctly, 2013, we was meant to go to Ibiza with my friends.
Yeah.
Cancelled the trip, said not going. Went to see my dad for a week in Paris instead.
Yeah.
And I came back, and after that, I was just knuckling down, working hard.
Yeah.
Like doing my fitness, running, everything in my head. I'm thinking, right, this guy, for some reason, he doesn't like me, but I'm gonna try and give him like no reason to leave me out. Yeah, so I'm there like working hard, this, that, the other, like, and I've come back to the preseason. I'm running, I'm flying. You know what I mean? Like bleep tests, all that. Like I'm doing really well. Like everything. You know what I mean? I'm sharp. And the next minute, it was just still not playing me even in the friendlies.
So your teammates must be confused as well.
Yeah.
Are they not asking questions?
Yeah. So it always gets interesting when your teammates start asking you questions like, why aren't you playing?
Yeah.
Why is this 16, 17-year-old kid on the bench?
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not.
You know what I mean? But then it was happening to a couple of other players as well, like 1 or 2 or 3. So it was almost like we came up with a term, the bomb squad. Yeah. Basically, it was basically like just players that no matter what we did, like we're just out of favour. There was like 3, 4 of us, like, but they couldn't tell us what it is I did. I'd understand if like you could turn to me and say you mess about or your behaviour or this, that, the other. Fair play. Like if you're gonna treat me that way because of that, fair enough. Yeah. If you said I'm not good enough, which you probably thought that, fair enough, then release me. You know what I mean?
Then let me go somewhere else.
Yeah, so
not good enough for here. Okay, I'll go. Bye.
They still don't do that. So I'm not playing any games in pre-season, and the next minute I've gone to train with Rochdale. Yeah. So they're back in Manchester. So I'm thinking I need to get out of this club. Trained with Rochdale for about a week or so. They were in League 2 at the time as well, so they've done really well. Spoke with the manager, spoke with the assistant, spoke with the chairman, signed forms and everything with them. And they're like, we're going to send these forms over to Liverpool. Liverpool signed them over. This was on a Friday. We'll see you on Monday. You're going to come with us for the whole season of my last year contract.
The last year, yeah.
Sick.
Perfect, yeah.
I'm going to play a whole season of games.
Yeah.
I trained with my team, the squad was like a couple of young players. It's funny enough, the manager, Keith Hill, he was the manager, first team manager at Barnsley at the time. Okay. So Keith Hill knew about me because when I was on
loan at
Barnsley with the youth team, I trained with the first team a couple of times. Okay. So he knew about me. So then I kind of got his contact through one of my friends that was at Rochdale. Yeah. That's how I got through there. So he was like, yeah, boom, signed the deal. I'm thinking I'm going to be there for the season. We're going to get in contact with Liverpool, bring it down. I'm gassed.
Yeah. Wait for your contract to get out and then
sign so I'm going to be away from Alex. I'm going to play maybe 20 games. If I can score 5, 6 goals as an 18, 19-year-old, stock's going to shoot up. I'm going to leave Liverpool and then go somewhere else. So I'm thinking, yeah, cool, packing my bags. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to live back at my mum's for a bit.
Manchester, amazing.
All my support system, everything, calm. So over the weekend, I remember that weekend I was so happy, like packed up my bags, everything ready. On the Sunday, I'm just waiting for cause I've still not got the contract confirmation from Liverpool, so I'm just waiting for them. Yeah. Once they let me know, they just flew back to Manchester that evening or in the morning, because we were reporting at Rochdale at 10 o'clock the next day. Yeah. Next minute, I remember I was sat on my bed and my phone just goes off, like ringing off. So then it was the guy who's he was the head of player care at the time. He was like the play, so it was like the player liaison kind of guy. He gives me a call and goes, "Oh, are you doing okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just obviously waiting, like on the contract situation is every told you." He goes, "Yeah, so a contract's been sorted but we're taking it down a different path. The Rochdale deal is no longer on the table, but you'll be going up to Scotland with Partick Thistle tomorrow morning.
Why?
I'm like, one, why? And two, I was no disrespect to Partick, but I was like, who's Partick Thistle?
Yeah.
So, and he's like, I'll try and explain, like, yeah, it's a team that was in the Scottish champ. They've just been promoted to the Scottish Prem. The manager really wants you. Like, they've watched you last season in Northampton. They think you're really good. You're young, you're fresh, you're sharp. Like, they really want you to go there. They really were like, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, like, okay, right, let me try not to, because I always try and have a positive outlook on things. So I'm thinking, try not to get stressed. And I just said to him, okay, cool, whatever. So they're like, yeah, we've booked your train tickets. Get to Liverpool, Lime Street in the morning. You're getting the train up to Glasgow in the morning. So I'm thinking, like, rah. Like, when I went to Northampton, the guy that called me, he drove me down to Northampton. So I had like someone from Liverpool with me. Also, this one, I'm just going to have to get a big suitcase on the train on my own to go away for 6 months up in Glasgow. You get me? So when this has happened, I'm like, right, what I'm trying not to panic. So I've called up my friend, Michael Ngu. So he's my height as well, 6'6", 6'5". He plays as a striker, so he was a year above me. So he was in the same year as like Connor Cody and them lot. The year before, he spent the year at Hearts, and he done really well. He smashed it. So I've called him. I'm like, yo, I'm going to Partick. Going up to Scotland in the morning. What's the league like? What's it like up there? He said, do you know what? Like, you don't even have to stress. Like, just go there and do your thing, especially playing on the left wing, 1v1s, this kind of thing. Just go there and do your thing, what you do in training, the same positive outlook, aggression, all that. You'll be sick. He's like, how long you know? 6 months? Yeah, cool. You'll be sick. And I was like, they're telling me that the manager wants me and all that kind of stuff. Like, just go there. If you just keep
your head down, do your thing.
You don't need to do anything out of the blue. You'll go there and smash it. So I'm thinking, sick. So next day comes, I'm thinking, right, cool. Gone to Scotland. I get there, pulled up to the club. So I got to the train station, got a taxi, pulled up to the club with this big suitcase. I'm just thinking I'm just going to go in, just sign a couple of forms, and then they're going to find me a place or whatever. Next minute, I come out, jump out of the cab, and there's like 7-8 paparazzi just in front of me. Like, mad. So I'm thinking, like,
big news.
So I'm
to
thinking,
be fair, I understand it though. It's like Partick Thistle. Like, first it was like, no one really knows them.
I live in Show You. Like, I found an article the other day. My friend sent it to me. See that one? Back on the back of the thingy, the Glaswegian spot, like a big spread. Like
I'm gonna put it on the screen. Send that to me. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. But so there's a whole article.
So there was all like on the back pages of all the major newspapers in Glasgow, in Scotland. So like I said, 7-8 paparazzi just like ready for me. Like there was waiting for me to get there. So taking pictures of me. I'm thinking like, whoa, like what's going on? So I got to the club. The manager comes out, greets me. How you doing? Henoc. My name's, what's his name? Alan Archibald. Like this, that, the other. So I've put my bag down and I'm walking around the stadium, seeing a small stadium, but it's like it's nice and tight. So there, and then he's trying to like obviously tell me like, they've done really well last year in the Scottish champ. They've got a young squad. He's telling me that he's watched me at Northampton, all this, that, the other. He thinks I can be like an important asset to them this season.
The squad,
he's like, we're not trying to just stay in the Scottish Prem. We're trying to like do as best as we can. So I think having young players like yourself, I think we're going to push. We've got like another player coming
and there's all good things to hear as someone who's coming on loan.
So I'm thinking, do you know what? This could actually be
good for you.
Good for me. You know, it could turn out to be better than the Rochdale move, because like I said, the Scottish champ is. You know, you've got the likes of Celtic in there and Hearts and Hibs, all these big clubs, and obviously Rangers now. So obviously he's fully selling me on this dream. You know? So I'm thinking like,
same mad.
You know what I mean? Like this is something that I think like if I really, really do focus here, I can do something amazing. So obviously we're walking around there and then we signed the deal, everything. So like I said, there's pictures I'll send them to you, like paparazzi there, that the other, and then they've put me in the hotel for the week whilst I was sorting out my accommodation, and then trained with the lads the next morning. Everyone's welcoming. There was like one or two players from like other places of loan,
on loan,
young players as well. And then like pre-season played I think like 4 games in pre-season, scored like 1 or 2. Started because I was playing left wing. So obviously, but he was telling me that he's gonna put me as a number 9, like central striker. So I'm thinking, okay, like there's another guy there, Chris Doolan, like amazing goal scorer. So he was like, I'm going to be the big one, he's going to be the little one. We'll play off each other, feed off each other. Like, I like how you're big, you're very mobile and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, cool, like, I'm going to play number 9. Pre-season comes, I just played as a left wing the whole pre-season, but scored like 1 or 2 here. And like I said, like I'm just got this positive outlook, you know what I mean? So because I'm playing now, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, okay, cool. I've not played a game at this point for a year, 18 months. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, getting myself in the swing of things. I'm training every day. I'm not struggling at all.
Yeah.
Like it's everything's in my stride.
Yeah.
And then the season comes, so beginning of the season. So I remember it was a Friday night game against Dundee United. I think it was like, I'm sure it was one of the first ever games for like BT Sport when BT Sport first came around.
Okay, yeah.
So I remember at the time, like all my friends were like watching it back
on
home.
TV.
Yeah, so it was on TV live. So it was on a Friday night. All my friends in Manchester, all my teammates in Liverpool, my friends in Sheffield.
Yeah.
I've paid. I got a pretty big family, so I've paid for all my brothers, my mom, my sisters.
Amazing, yeah.
Everyone to come up, put everyone up in the hotel. Like
Amazing.
thinking, I've done really well in pre-season. I'm one of the better players in the attack. I'm young, you know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm gonna start.
Yeah,
you get me?
And I'm on TV. Amazing.
You're madness.
And then if you did, then it's like our value's gone up.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like this is the perfect opportunity because at that time my mum hadn't really got to watch me play like that.
Of course.
So I'm thinking like, this is like the time to show what I can really do. And I even remember one of my friends like afterwards he was saying me like, they was speaking about you, like saying like you're one of the danger men for Partick and this, that, the other. Obviously we're in the change room and he names the squad starting 11. I'm not in the starting 11.
You're not starting.
So I'm thinking, all right, cool. Do you know what? Stay humble in it. Like,
you're
on the bench. So I'm thinking, maybe I'll come on at half time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come on second half and try and make things happen and change things on the bench. Game ends 0-0. I didn't come on.
Didn't come on at all.
Didn't play 1 minute. So I'm thinking.
So, but you said, if in your opinion you're one of the better players, attackers, and then you said in the game preview they were talking about
me,
Henoc Mukendi, all that stuff. And you were fit, you had no injuries, and you had a good preseason. Why didn't you come on? Did you get a reason?
I didn't get a reason. So he just said to me, like, just wait for your chance. We've got another game on Wednesday against a team that we'd already played against in preseason. You'll be involved in that. So I'm thinking, okay, calm. Like, I'm not gonna kick off or anything like that. I'm just gonna stay level-headed and then take it like that. So Wednesday comes, we play against a team that we'd played against in preseason. I started against them and we beat them 3-0. I'm thinking, I'm gonna start, and the next thing, I'm on the bench, same thing again. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? I was like, cool, I'm not going to kick off, I'm going to stay level-headed. And, so that game, I think it ended like 0-0 or 1-1 or something, but it went to extra time, so I've come on extra time. We've ended up winning like 2-1 or something. Got the ball cut inside, popped one pass in, the guys turned and played it to someone and they've scored. We've ended up scoring. There's like I remember correctly because there was a picture of like, for when the goal went in, like me and someone else like running because there was the guy like slid for the goal. So there's a picture of me like in the goal, like so I'm gonna send that to you as well. So like was involved in that, you know what I mean? So obviously I'm gassed. When we left the stadium, same thing. I'm in the newspaper saying paparazzi have come to me. Oh, well done, you was involved. How does it feel to get your first couple of minutes? You know what I mean? So they're hyping me up as well at the same time. Like how do you feel? I'm like, like it's good to get a couple of minutes. Now hopefully I can kick on to Saturday and then show everyone what I can really do. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Got 15 minutes, but let's go again. Fit. Saturday we're going to Ross County. So if you know anything about Scotland, so Glasgow.
I don't know anything about Scotland.
Glasgow's obviously from here. Well, from Manchester, Glasgow's like 3 hours away. So it's like up north. But then from Glasgow, Ross County is like 3 hours away.
Oh wow!
So it's like at the top of Scotland. So we had to travel there the day before. So we traveled there on a Friday. Stayed over there at the hotel overnight. So I'm getting positive feedback in training for the managers. So I'm thinking, I'm expecting to start. I'm not gonna lie, I'm expecting to start this one.
At this point.
Ross County away. We've not scored many goals. We've only scored 2 goals. One was a set piece, and the other one was like a fumble. Like none of the attackers at that point had scored either. So I'm thinking, I'm expecting to start. You know what I mean? At least give me a game to see what I can do from the beginning. So like I said, we've gone down the Friday. Everything's normal, and then we get there to the stadium on a Saturday morning. We got there like 12:30ish. We're all on the pitch, chilling, normal, listening to music, doing the thing. And then the manager comes out and he tells everyone to go in. And as we're all walking in, he goes, "Oh, Henoc, like, come, let me chat to you for a second."
To the side just before the game.
So usually when that happens is when the manager's trying to give you good news about it. You're going to start.
I want you to do this. Okay.
So you know how it goes. So I want you to do this, that, there was something thinking, like, when he's pulled me aside, man, I'm like, I got a rush. I'm thinking, like, yes, this is it. So the same thing, and it's like, it's a bit of like nostalgia because he turned around to me and asked me like, "Oh, how do you think you did Wednesday?" Similar to like the
Same as the Alex Inglethorpe conversation.
I'm like, I think I only played it 15 minutes, but I think I done all right. You know what I mean? couple of little switches here. And I'm glad to win. Hopefully I can kick on today. He goes, yeah, whilst I do agree with you, today we're going to try something a little bit different. When he said that, I'm thinking, okay, like starting me.
Yeah, because you haven't started, so that is what's different.
Yeah, so then he's like, so today, like, you're not going to be involved, you're not in the squad. Like,
at all?
Not even on the bench, not in the squad. Like...
What?
I didn't know what to say to him. I just silent. I was just like, I just want to try a couple other things out, give a couple other people some chances, this, that, the other. But in my head, I'm thinking, you've not even given me a chance.
Of course.
So do you mean give other people chances? Because I've not had my chance. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give a couple of other people some chances and this, that, the other. So I'm thinking, like, at that time, my head just clouded. You know what I mean? So I was just like, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Played that game, we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
Got on the coach. I remember just sleeping the whole way back on the coach to Glasgow. Got back there, and I'm just like, I remember that day really, really well. So I was stressed. And then got back into training, same thing. Every single day I'm trying hard, like working hard, trying to improve. Between then, the Ross County game, that was second league game of the season, up until when I left Partick in November. So this is like from between August, September to November. Played no games, like not even on the bench.
Not even come on.
Not even on the bench. Like
not even sat on the bench.
Not even sat on the bench. Like.
But okay, so if I want to rewind a bit, when you were about to go to Rochdale, and you got told Rochdale deals off, but Partick Thistle are interested in you. They want to see the coach met you instead of watching you. So who lied? What was going on?
Well, so this is where it gets to. So when all this is happening in the midst of texting Liverpool, text Alex Singlethorpe. Yeah. I said, look, Alex, like, it's not working out here. I'm not playing. Like, come here. Like, the manager keeps his time to wait for my chance. I've been waiting a month, 2 months, 3 months now. I just want to come back to the club. I'd rather train at Liverpool than train at Partick. Of course. You know what I mean? Even though at Liverpool I wasn't playing, I'd still improve from the training. Yeah, of course. Like, me and Alex obviously never got on, and I don't think great of him, but he's a good coach. You know what I mean? So his training sessions will improve you. You know what I mean? Of course. I don't like how he dealt with me, don't get me wrong, but I'll never turn around and come on and say, oh, he's a terrible coach. He's not. He's obviously good at his job in terms of developing players and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's just how he treats people it needs a lot of work. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I've texted him, and I'm like, look, it's not working out. This, that, the other. And he's just like, well, you're not going to be in any better position being at Liverpool, so you may as well stay up there. But I'm like, but I'm a Liverpool player. I'm only on loan here, and I'm not playing, so it defeats the purpose of me being out on loan. Yeah. And I just said to him, I said, look, I feel like I'm going to book myself my train, and I'm going to come back. I'll be at the club on Monday. Yeah. And he's turned around to me and said, if you come back, you're going to get fined. You're going to get suspended. Just like basically started threatening me. So after these times, I'm like, right, like,
my own club don't want me.
My own club don't want me. I'm not playing. I'm just training. But then if I go back to my own club, I'm going to lose money, because I'm going to get suspended, which means I'm not going to probably train for a week or two. But then I'm also going to lose money, which might be half a month's wage, 2 weeks' wages. Yeah. So I may as well just stay here, you know what I mean? But these times I'm stressed. So now I'm like, who do I turn to? Because I don't have an agent.
Who do you turn to?
Don't, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. So this is where, like, the drinking starts. So because I know I'm not playing at Partick. Yeah. I may as well go out clubbing. You know what I mean? I may as well drink on a Saturday night after the game. If I got to a point where I didn't want to go out clubbing no more. Yeah. After a game on Saturday, I've not played. We've lost again. We was getting, at one point, I remember it was a month where we played Dundee, smashed us 5-0. Aberdeen beat us 5-0. We got beat 3-0 by Celtic. Like, we was getting thrashed.
And then they didn't think, okay, let's try something different. And they're talking about trying something different.
And I'm an attacker. Yeah. Like, not giving me the opportunity, you know what I mean? Fans are tweeting me, what's going on? I'm not replying because I don't know what to tell you. The manager just keeps telling me, wait for your opportunity. And during this whole time, I'm fit. Bearing in mind, I'm fit. After training, I'm going to the gym, running extra miles. Like, the area I lived in was like a pretty posh area. So I'm going jogging on. I'm fit. Like, it's probably one of the fittest I've been in my career because I was constantly training and just improving my body. I'm adding a bit of size on, this, that, the other. And then it got to the stage where I'd kind of overworked myself, and then I got a little injury, so I was out for like a week or two. And then, so I got pretty close with like the people that like with the backroom stuff. I'm not going to say whose name or whatever, not because he really helped me out. But it was one of the people, like one of the coaching staff basically.
At Liverpool?
No, at Partick.
At Partick, okay.
Yeah, so he's now turned around to me and said, like, look, why aren't you playing? Have you fell out with the manager or something?
Even
like,
he doesn't know.
Yeah, so I'm like, whoa, like,
yeah, of course.
How do you not know? Like, you're part of the coaching staff. I'm hoping you can tell me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why I'm not playing.
And he's like, all right, cool, do you know what? Yeah, like, give me a couple of days.
Yeah.
I'll find out for you because it's a bit baffling. Because even players asking me, like, yo, you felt like the manager. I'm like, I don't know. Like, but when this coaching staff starts asking me, I'm like...
And there's like, there must be something.
Yes, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If it was, then they'd know, you know what I mean? A couple of days later, he comes back to me and he's like, because basically I was having to do some treatment like, on my shin and stuff like I got a kick. So after training, one day he pulled me aside, he goes, oh, like, come for some treatment, but as we're walking, he's like, oh, like, keep it quiet between you. I spoke to basically the manager and stuff like that about your situation, and I was like, oh, why is he not playing? Like, basically whispering to me. And then he's like, basically, what they found out is the manager's not the reason I'm not playing. It's above him. The chairman is friends with someone at Liverpool, and the reason I'm up here at Partick is because he's doing someone at Liverpool a favour by getting me out of the way.
No way.
I lost my head.
No
Bro,
way.
When he told me this, obviously I know it is. I know 100% it can't be no one else but Alex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, has to.
Like, in football, everyone knows each other. So, like, obviously Alex is now the academy director of the club. This guy was like, the guy who's the chairman at Partick is the next player. So, Alex is the next player himself. I don't know.
So they must have been friends somehow in the circuit.
They would have dealt with each other one way 100%. Or another. Because that's the same thing in football. So, I've lost my head.
That's mad.
Lost, like, bro, like, but bear in mind, I've been dealing with this for a year as well at Liverpool. So I'm still 19, so I'm like, you know what I mean? So this is where, like I said, it's little things that are building up.
It's mad because, like, it's as I was, and if you want to go all the way back, we don't see this all starts from Kenny Dalglish getting sacked. Like, no one notices. Like, a manager gets sacked, it affects players in the academy.
It makes a bit,
you just think it's the first team because these managers manage the first team. No, it goes down. From Kenny Dalglish getting sacked, your whole career path changed into you now being at Partick Thistle, and now you're saying that the only reason you're there is because they're trying to kind of get you out of the way, push you out of the way, and he's doing a favour. So the chairman's probably saying to the manager, I don't really want this guy here anyways, which have him here because I'm doing my guy a favour.
Just make sure you don't play.
Don't play him.
And because the weird thing was, when I was at Partick, Liverpool was paying my whole wage.
Mad.
You know what I mean? Like, Liverpool was paying my whole wage.
Yeah, they're paying your wage still, right?
Whilst when I was at Northampton, if I played, Northampton would give me £300-400 here. You know what I mean? My appearance bonuses, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Northampton were paying for my accommodation, all that kind of stuff. But when I was at Partick, Liverpool paid for everything. So it made sense that they literally paying to get me out of the way. Instead of just paying me off and letting me leave. Yeah. And then that happens. So obviously I'm there. So my loan was meant to finish in January. At the end of like November, I get a call from the guy that told me that I was going to Partick. So he now calls me. He's like, how's it going? Is things okay? I'm like, not really. I'm not playing. He's like, okay, cool. I'm coming up to Scotland in 2-3 days. Actually, do you know what? The only like good bit I can say good about Scotland is when one of the people that came to see me, funny enough, was is now head of player care at Norwich. I think I mentioned it to you before. Yeah, you did. A guy called Clive Cook. Yeah. And the is now Norwich's director of football, a guy called Stuart Webber. They're the only people that checked in on me and made sure I was fine. They came out, which is actually quite weird because they came out thinking I was going to play. Yeah. It was like second game or third game of the season. And then when I got there, I wasn't even on the bench. Like, they were shocked. I ended up sitting with them in the stands, and they could just, I remember speaking to them like not too long ago, and they were saying, look, we could tell you was down in it. Yeah. And after that, I was like speaking with them and stuff like that. They're the only people that like even cared a bit because they came up to see me, you know what I mean? But apart from that, like I said, so he's now messaged me, this guy at Liverpool. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to come up and see you in a couple of days. There's a couple of things we need to speak about. So when he's saying that, I kind of knew exactly what he was going to say. Yeah. So then 3 days pass, he drives up from Liverpool all the way to Glasgow. Yeah. 3-4 hours. And then we've gone, I remember properly, we've sat in a Costa Coffee, some random Costa Coffee off the motorway. And then he's trying to like basically make me eat and talk to me. I was like, nah, just cut to the chase, innit? And he's like, oh yeah, well, we've been monitoring your progression here. And obviously because you've not really progressed, the club's now turned around and decided that they want to pay you off when you get back to the club.
Well, now they want to pay you off.
Now they want to pay me off because I've not played now. My market value is down. Now you want to pay me off. So when that's happened, I was just like, well, I just said to him, look, I don't know why they've sent you all the way here. You could say this to me on the phone.
Yeah.
But we will deal with this in January when I get back to the club. This is that end November. And then obviously you could tell that I was a bit annoyed. No, I was very annoyed even, let's say. So then that's happened. And then they've, what's the call to say? He's gone back down to Liverpool. And then Partick, bearing in mind my contract's meant to end in January, Partick managers now turn around to me at the beginning of December. It's like, yeah, it's not really worked out here for you and stuff like that. So I think it's best that you go back down to Manchester. Yeah. We spoke with Liverpool. They don't expect you back in until January. Yeah. You can just spend the rest of December and Christmas time with your family. So the rest of December, basically not even the rest.
Yeah, you were without a club basically.
I'm signed to a club, but I didn't train for the whole of December. Because Liverpool, they say that they not expect me back until after
January,
yeah.
And then, like, we don't need you anymore.
Basically. But then I ended up getting a call like a couple of days before Christmas when I was back in Manchester, like, you need to be back for Boxing Day. Like, training on Boxing Day.
This kind of treatment surely, like, isn't right.
It's not, you know what I mean? The same towards you need to back up. I'm thinking, okay, cool, like, I'm stressed, but let me go back.
Yeah.
Because we need to be back on Boxing Day. Yeah. So obviously it means you can't go out at Christmas. You can't do anything mad. You're training Boxing Day, training the day after, and a game 2 days later. So so I've gone back, trained Boxing Day, and we had another training session, and then a game the day after. Yeah. So we've trained Boxing Day after Christmas. Obviously everyone's like annoyed, whatever. A couple of managers a bit drunk from the night before, coaching staff. Obviously a lot of people go out Boxing Day. Yeah. So obviously I've stayed in. Bearing in mind, I've got every right to go out. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not going to play in 2 days. I've stayed in, like, behaving myself, this, that, the other. Couple of players went out Boxing Day. Yeah. And then trained the next day. And then they still started on the, I think it was that 28th or 29th, whatever the game was. Calm, whatever. Yeah. And the next minute, something happened with like social media in the club, and they're like, okay, cool, nobody go out New Year's Eve because we've got a game on the 2nd. So we need you guys to be sharp because we lost the game before Boxing Day or whatever. Yeah. Boom. Same, me trying to be professional again. I've stayed in, like, this, that, the other. Tell me how, we trained on, what was it? Was it New Year's Day? New Year's Day we trained. Yeah. We trained for, if I remember correctly, it was half an hour.
Half an hour?
The manager didn't come out. Alex himself didn't come out to do training. The only person that took training was the fitness coach. Yeah. He was drunk. Like, he was drunk. Like, he was still like hungover.
So everyone went out?
Everyone went out. It was only like me and 2 other foreign lads that didn't go out. Like at this time, so the likes of like Henoc Mukendi that was already up with the first team at this point. Of course. So, but it was like us and the younger ones and stuff. Everyone went out. Like, I was fuming. Like, I was raging. You know what I mean? Everyone's got.
You barely even had a training session, anyways.
30 minutes. Done. Warm up 15 minutes and 15 minutes passing drill. That's it.
Said,
done.
There's no one here.
And I was fuming. I remember I was grabbed one ball, kicked it. I was like, yo, like, you're not taking the mick because I'm here being professional, working my socks off. I'm not even playing. Yeah. And you're like the ones that are starting, are going out, coming in drunk. Bare players are like, oh yeah, I got a little niggle here because they're.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's happened. Then a couple of days later, when Alex, obviously the fitness coach goes and tells Alex that I was kicking off and this, that, the other, Alex pulls me in, like, I heard you was kicking off. And I said, yeah, because it's not fair that these players, they're not going to get punished. Yeah. But me, who's not done anything wrong. Yeah. And he's always like, oh yeah, but you already know the situation here. So I'm like, well, you've not really been clear with me. You've not given the reason why. Of course. Because if I'm not good enough and you're still keeping me at the club, then give me a reason. Tell me what I can improve on, this, that, the other, because I want to get better as a player anyway, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then, so that's happened, and he's pulled me for another meeting again, like, look, the club want to pay you a certain amount. Like, if you accept it, the money will be in your account tomorrow, then you can leave. I'm like, no. So I've started being stubborn now because I understood why they was doing it. Yeah, because if I leave now, no one's going to take me because I've not played a game for the past 18 months, basically, since Northampton. Yeah. So my market value is down, like down in the mud, so it doesn't make sense. So obviously I'm now stalling in Liverpool whilst trying to get my old contacts back. So I'm trying to get all of the Sheffield Uniteds, the Leicesters, and, you know, I'm trying to speak to them, saying, look, trying to explain to them a bit about what's going on and trying to see if they'll take me.
I'll take you,
So then I end up getting a contact with Sheffield United, Leyton Orient, and Swindon Town. Yeah. So when that's happened, I've like got to a certain stage of these times, like I said, I'm still like training every single day. He's now making me train with a youth team. Like he's punishing me. And actually take it back. So I almost forgot about this one. So this is where like my head like fully went. So obviously, being at Liverpool, at our team, we had a lot of international players. So most of the players, if you're English, played for England. If you was Scottish, whatever,
play for their their countries.
So I'd been involved with like under 19s, I'd been away training and stuff like that, but I never like played any games. So I've been on standby a couple of times with England, but I played for Congo national team, so under 18s, 17s, 19s, 20s. So when I've got back from Scotland that year, if I remember correctly, it was the under 20s African nations. Yeah. So African nations, the under 20s one used to be televised on Eurosport. Okay. Yeah. And at the time, I think Congo was one of the like the favourites that year. Okay. So that year we had quite a few sick players, some standard liège, so from PSG, Kipembe and all that. So I played with him. Yeah. When I was Congo and stuff like that. So I'll get onto that one as well with the PSG story. But we when I got back from Scotland, so Congo have sent me a letter. Yeah. And they're like, look, this is the January when I got back to Liverpool. So this is like about a week or two after the New Year incident and when Alex had a word with me. So Congo sent a letter to the club saying, look, we want Henoc to come and feature in the African nations for us. I've played for him before, this, that, the other. Cool, everything. I'm thinking, I'm going to go to African nations, smash it. Yeah. Couple of clubs, wherever.
Market value goes up a bit again. Yeah.
And then I'm leaving Liverpool in 6 months anyway. So I'll even come back and take the payoff and someone else will sign me. Perfect. I'm thinking sick, you know what I mean? Because I already know if I go there, I'm going to start. Yeah. Like, guaranteed. So I'm thinking I'm going to go African nations. Next minute, Alex brings me from me and said, you're not going.
What do you mean you're not going?
You're not going. And the reason he gave me that I'm not going is because Congo at the time, because in the 20s, they said that they weren't going to pay for my flight. I had to pay for my own flight, but they'd reimburse me the money after the tournament. Yeah. Which I'm like, that's normal because I've done that last year. Yeah, I've done that the year before. So I've got enough money to pay for my own flights. Yeah. Because I was only going to Belgium anyway. Yeah. So I was basically paying my flights to Belgium. Yeah. And then they would pay the flights to wherever the country was and they'd reimburse my Belgian flights. Yeah. After, so it was only like £100. Yeah, £100, yeah. Like, nope, you're not going to African nations. Like that one there, that's the one that like destroyed me the most.
I'm fuming.
Like, and my thing's always been, like, I just want an opportunity.
Of course.
I'm not saying I'm Ronaldo or Messi. Like, I just want an opportunity to play football. Yeah. Prove how good I can be. Yep. And improve, you know what I mean? And just make a career at myself. But this guy is, the way the treatment just wasn't right at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, these times, like I said, I've not got an agent. Yeah. The last agent I had like messed everything up, and now I've literally got no one fighting my corner. You know what I mean? Like no one at the club's fighting my corner. No one's speaking to him and saying, "Look, maybe we should release him and just pay him off."
Yeah, of course.
18 months ago, you know what I mean? But now
do you think if you had an agent, like an actual agent that cared about you, things would have turned out differently?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I feel like they were able to play you around. Yeah. Because they knew you didn't have any representation. Yeah, 100%. And someone who's like an older person, a man who cares about your best interests, to say to them, no, this isn't right what you're doing to my client.
Even if, let's say, like obviously I said, my dad lives in Paris. Yeah. If let's say I had like my dad around or someone like that.
Anyone of some sort of like, figure. Yeah, because you're young.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have, they wouldn't have played with me, because I've seen it in my own two eyes where having certain agents in your corner as an agent makes you as a player, you know what I mean? You'll get certain opportunities.
Players have got opportunities based on their agent.
On the agents, yeah. And I've seen it firsthand at Liverpool themselves, and I've seen the way Alex has dealt with other agents, certain players where he treats them with the most respect. He doesn't speak to his players a certain way because of who the agents are. Yeah, so but with me, because I've got no representation, it's almost like I can take advantage of him. Yeah. And then, so obviously after that's happened, African Nation, my head's gone. And then, like I said, he's making me train with the youth team. And then it got to a point where he starts making me train with the reserves again, but as a centre-back now.
Just moved you back to, and you haven't been centre-back since you're like, what, like 13?
I was like 13. But I was like, do you know what, I'm just taking it in a stride. I'm just, like I said, I'm still working hard. I'm a real, like, proper hard worker, working every day. And then the only two games I ever played under Alex, it was both at centre-back. Yeah. And both games, no goals were scored. Yeah. And then this is where they played with my head as well, So they brought me in for another meeting. This was 3 weeks before I actually left the club. Yeah. They brought me for a meeting and said, look, okay, cool, for the past like 3-4 weeks, you've been training as a centre-back with your height, you've been left-footed. We think you may be able to do something.
Progress there.
How do you feel about playing centre-back? I said, look, I've never complained about playing a certain position. Yeah. I've played centre-back before, played left-back, played left wing, played striker. I just want the opportunity to play football,
Yeah.
enjoy my football, and make a career. He said, yeah, and I used people like Jamie Carragher as an example. Jamie Carragher used to be a centre mid or a striker when he was younger, and now he was a centre back. You know what I mean? So I said, look, look, I'm more than happy to do so if needs be. And then there's obviously turned to me and said, yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna give us a couple of days. We may extend your deal by a further year and give you a year as a centre back to see how you do, because then with the manager, you maybe get more opportunities with the first team because now you're a tall defender. You get me? And you're quick as a defender. You're strong, good in the air. So I'm thinking, okay, like I don't know what's going on, but you know what I mean? This could be a complete 360 of events. So they're now obviously like turning around to me and saying, look,
centre back, we can play in defence.
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, with the manager and things like that, we could look to push you forward with the first team if you're willing to play. I said, look, that's not a problem. Like, I'm more than happy to play anywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you can ask
you
any
just want to be a professional footballer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I enjoy playing football.
Yeah.
Whether it's defending, attack, you know what I mean? I just enjoy playing football. So they're like, yeah, give us a couple of days, we'll get back to you. This, that, the other. Didn't hear nothing back. There was a week where they just maybe trained with the youth team the whole week. There was times where I trained, like, don't get me wrong, I trained with the first team here and there. There was one time, like the previous season, where I trained with the first team. We were playing against West Ham, so they needed someone to kind of emulate what Andy Carroll does and stuff like that. So they brought me in, things like that.
Also, what was those sessions like? Training with the first team?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
What was it like?
Ridiculous.
What is like? Who, obviously, that's the Brendan Rodgers team. So
Gerrard,
Suarez, Sturridge was there,
Sturridge,
right? Raheem Sterling would have been up into the first team by
so,
then.
Yeah. So, and the good thing about that is every time I went up with the first team, a lot of my friends were up there already. So they had Raheem, Henoc Mukendi, Andre Wisdom, John Flanagan, the Susos, like Jordan Ibe. Everyone was up there. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel out of place because if I was going there, I'd just tell one of my friends to come pick me up. I'm
go together.
Coming with them. You know what I mean? Obviously, we'd have our own changing room. But on the pitch, like that's my man. Out of, even though they were with the first team and I was reserves, we'd still chill together every single day. So they were still my boys, innit? So, but I remember one of the first times I like went up with the first team properly on my own. I was nervous. And I remember like I was on the pitch, like tying my laces like that. I was down, and then someone tapped me on the back. So I turned round and I look up, and it's Steven Gerrard. and I've only been like starstruck twice. And the first one was Steven Gerrard, and the second one was Ian Wright when I was at Northampton.
Oh yeah,
Steven Gerrard, like when he came up to me, like, and I was like, oh. What's your name? I'm like, this time I think I was like 17. First time I trained with the first team. I'm like Henoc. Trying to get your name out. So I shook my hands like, I'm Steven. Obviously, just train well, do your thing, no pressure. Yeah, of course. And it's quite funny because he always says like, look, if any of these like try to give you any shit, just stick up for yourself. You know what I mean? And then next minute, the person comes next to me after Steven Gerrard was Luis Suarez, and he goes, hey, what's your name? Because obviously someone told him I was a striker. Because he was doing some like attacking drills at the beginning. And then he's like, Louis, I'm like, oh, like Henoc, this, that, the other. And then obviously like Raheem, Coutinho, all them like came out and we were doing like some drills with the attackers and that. But yeah, like with the first team, it was calm. Like because of the intensity trained with the reserves, it was like that, but like 100% throughout the whole session. With the reserves, sometimes you can slack off a little bit, or we may lower the intensity. But with the first team, it was just 100% the whole way through. So the concentration had to be a lot more. And then when you train with the first team, it gives you a certain drive because you're like, right, that's how I want to train every day. That's how I want to play. So when you go back to reserves, you step it up. Exactly. So it was that hunger there because obviously if you train well with the first team, you know, okay, cool, I know I can do that. So I need to concentrate more. You know what I mean? So that was amazing. And like I said, the only like proper opportunity I got at the time, it was a game against West Ham. This was like back in first year as a pro. Like I said, we was playing against West Ham. Andy Carroll, I think he had in his contract he could play against Liverpool. I don't think he ended up playing that game. I think he got injured. But I was basically emulating what there was, like how West Ham played. So it was like long balls into Andy Carroll, holding them off. So I think it was like Skirtle and Agger at the time, just pinning them. Light work, like literally, and then trying to lay it off to the attackers and stuff. And then some of the stuff you'd seen training some of these first team players do was like ridiculous. Like
I always hear,
Steven Gerrard, I remember that session, and Jose Enrique was in the corner and he had a ball and he had like 3-4 men around him. And then Gerrard was like 10 yards, 15 yards away from him. But Enrique's like pinged the ball into him. like mid-air, like
Fizzed it
knee-high,
hard.
fizzed it in hard, knee-high. Bearing in mind, Steven Gerrard is right-footed.
Yeah.
He's controlled the ball with his left foot on the outside of the boot. Flipped it around. I think it was Jordan Henderson that was going to tackle him. Like, touched it on the outside of his left foot, flipped it around Jordan Henderson, like flipped it around, and the ball bounced once on a half volley. He's pinged it like 40 yards to, if I remember correctly, it was Coutinho on the out wide. On the wing. And he did that within like 2 seconds. I remember my friend who, Craig Rodden, was training with the first team together. When he did that, Craig looked at me and I looked back at me and went, wow. Like it was just but he did it so smoothly.
Exactly.
It like just scary ability, you know what I mean? So like, so the experience with the first team was always really good. By the time I got to have a couple of conversations with Brendan, so, and I remember turning around to him and I said, look, at that point he was bringing me up a lot with the first team. I said, look, at the moment, Brendan, like, you're giving me opportunity to train with the first team. One time I even trained with him the day before a game, which usually doesn't happen unless you're going to be involved, you know what I mean?
The match day
so so I'm like, obviously you like what I bring to the table or whatever not, but I'm not playing any games with the reserves and I'm not being given an opportunity to even play these games. Like, what's going on? Do you know what's happening with the reserves? I decided, he said, I'm aware of like certain players, obviously they're the Morgans and kind of Cody's and Flanagans, but obviously with what's going on with you, I think he said you'll have to speak with Alex and stuff. I said, yeah, but Alex is telling me one thing.
Yeah, of course.
But then you're telling me another thing. When I train with you guys, you're telling me I'm doing well. I'm a young, like, up-and-coming player. You're speaking to me as if I've got a future at the club. Whilst my reserve manager is telling me that I don't. So then Brendan just turned around to me and said, yeah, like, okay, I'll have a word with Alex and we'll see where we can take it from there. After that, I never trained with the first team ever again. So Alex obviously didn't probably like that. Obviously, I spoke to the first team manager about the situation. And then never took me forward. But so like I said, after that, them trying to get me to play centre-back again, never heard anything again. And I just, like, lost my head. So training with the youth team, it wasn't challenging.
Of course,
like, in terms of like intensity, I'm way ahead of them. I'm physically much stronger. So I felt like I wasn't getting any better, you know what I mean? So in the end, I've just turned around to them and said, look, do you know what? I'm just, whatever's left of the payoff, just pay me off. And I'll find my own ways, whatever. These times I had like Sheffield United's contacts and all these other teams. So when that's happened, they've paid me off. I think I had like 7-8 months left on my lease at Liverpool at the time. Moved out my apartment that day. Went back to my mum's and it's just, and that's when like the horrible stuff like really hit me. Like, it got really dark. So obviously when I've gone there, the motivation, like, it just like took out of me. So obviously I'm thinking, okay, cool. Like, I went on holiday that year, but it was just, you know what I mean? I've gone back, spoke to Sheffield United, and then it was like, okay, cool. Like, we basically, like we know who you are. We tried to sign you, and we know that obviously you were saying when you were younger. They basically said, we'd look to sign you for maybe a 2 or 3 year period. Come in, let's have a conversation. If we like what we kind of planned for you, we can offer you a long-term deal because I'm only 20 at the time. So you're still a young player. We can offer you a 3-year deal or something like that. Same thing with Leyton Orient. They wanted to see me train for 2-3 days. Slade was the manager at the time. They was in League One. I remember like the agent that I started working for, it was one African agent at the time. He kind of sorted that out. And then a friend of mine who was at Liverpool before with me, was now at Swindon, got me in touch with the manager, and the manager's like, okay, cool, like, I know who you are, like, decide if come train with us for a week. If we like you, I'll offer you a 2-year deal. You're still only 20. You know what I mean? I'll give you a chance. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Come back from holiday, got myself fit. You know what I mean? This, that, the other. And then the first one was Sheffield United. So the day was meant to go there to Sheffield United. Me and the agent was meant to go now. I was meant to meet the agent there. I turned up to the club to Shire Green in Sheffield at the training ground. Agent's nowhere to be seen. Trying to call him, nothing.
He's not there.
Nothing. And then I go to I'm just going to go to the reception. See if there's anyone. Because obviously I didn't know who the point of contact was at Sheffield United.
Of course,
So I've gone there and I introduced them, said, look, obviously I've left Liverpool. I've been speaking about me possibly trialing and signing at the club, this, that, the other. And they brought someone out. I think it was one of the first team coaches at the time. I forgot the guy's name. But he's then come to me and said, didn't your agent tell you that the deal's been pulled off the table?
You've gone through so much shit.
But, like, I'm now trying to call the agent. I'm trying to call him, nothing. Got myself back on the train, back to Manchester. When I got back home, the agent now called me. He's like, how are you doing? You okay? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
like,
just came from Sheffield.
he just came from Sheffield. Where was you? He's like, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, they got in contact with me like 2-3 days ago, saying that the deal may be off the table, but don't worry though. I'm trying to work on something else for you. Like, don't worry, we're gonna get back you playing. This, that, the other. Just stay positive. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to lose my head, but these times, bearing in mind, like I said, I've got 4 brothers, 2 sisters.
Yeah,
living in a 3-bedroom house at my mum's.
yeah.
So it's not an ideal living situation.
Yeah, of course,
you know what
of course.
So like I said, so that's happened. I'm losing my head, and the next minute, we'll go to Russell Slade. So we think, okay, cool. Leighton Orient. So the agents took about a week. Leighton Orient, packed my bags, thinking I'm gonna go down to Leighton Orient, train for a week, hopefully sign. Russell Slade calls me on the Sunday. He was the Leighton Orient manager at the time. He's like, Mukendi, how you doing, son? You okay? It's Russell Slade. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. This, that, the other. He goes, how you feeling? I said, I'm good. He goes, you fit? I goes, yeah, I'm fit. He goes, like, how you feeling about like living in London? I said, I got friends in London, got family in London. At that point, I was going to London quite a lot. Yeah. I said, it's not a problem. Like, I kind of, if anything, I want to. I need a change of scenery anyway, because I've lived up north all my life. This, that, the other. He goes, yeah, I understand that. He goes, I really want to give you this chance, and you need to prove me right, and you need to prove me, you need to prove me wrong about what I've heard about you and what a lot of people are saying about you.
And what's the what?
And this time I'm thinking, what's he talking about? Yeah. And I go, yeah. I just obviously trying to not to annoy him basically. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, He goes, I know you've got a lot of problems with your attitude. I know you think you're you're basically like the dog's bollocks. I know you think you're this, that, the other. Obviously, I know you're really talented, but your attitude comes first. So in my head, I'm thinking, you're definitely not talking about me. Yeah. He's probably talking about my brother. My brother, like...
Your brother played professional as well,
as well, so my brother was, like, a bit more hot-headed than I am.
And you got the same surname, so maybe you got confused.
Exactly. So, but obviously people were using this stigma, like the same thing. So when my brother, there was a certain manager that hated my brother, and he just completely locked my brother off. Yeah. But when they're using the same kind of certain surname, they was using it with me as well, and certain people knew that. So obviously he's now telling me like this, that, the other. And the next minute, the agent calls me like half an hour later, and then he's like, "Oh, Russell Slade just called me, and he's telling me he's not really convinced. He's heard some bad things about your attitude and this, that." So as soon as the agent, obviously Russell Slade's telling me that I'm still going there tomorrow, the next day, but then the agent's now calling me saying that Russell Slade's having doubts. So I said to the agent, I said, you know what? There's no point in me going, because I'm not gonna get a fair chance anyway. You know what I mean? Like, just let's scrap it. Because that just like left a bad taste in my mouth anyway, so I knew I wasn't going to get a fair chance. And then after that, we ended up managing to get so that was the Leighton Orient one. So we ended up managing it in a trial at Bury FC, which is local Manchester. I've gone down to Bury. Kevin Blackwell's the manager now. Kevin Blackwell's the same thing. I get there, Bury, like 20 minutes from my house. Got there at the stadium, waiting in the corridor because the manager was having meetings with everyone. And so when it got to my turn, he's like, next. So we like going in. There was like 7 trialists. So we've gone there. And he's like, oh, leave the door open, son. He goes, sit down. I'm like, okay. Like, but he's like very stern with me. I'm thinking, okay, sit down. He goes, and he literally looks at me like in the face. He's like, right. So I've heard a lot of things about your attitude.
So even the Bury manager's now saying this. So something's circulating around
that I've got a bad attitude.
So it's I'm guessing it's your reference at Liverpool.
Exactly, yeah. Because
they all call Liverpool and say, "How's he?"
How is he? Yeah. So which is what I found out later on. Okay. Because it was happening to another player, which I'll get onto in a minute. Okay. So he's then turned around and he's like, "Yeah, Mukendi, I know there's a lot going on about your attitude. I want to give you a fair chance here. I'm all about fair chance and young players." And he's obviously giving this big speech, but basically shouting at me. Yeah. And then the doors open as well. Yeah. So when I've got out, it's just like, get out, get changed, out on the pitch in 20 minutes. So I'm thinking, right, okay, cool. When I've got out, the players that were on trial that I was waiting in the corridor, like, right, what was that about? Like, yeah, no, it was like, he thinks I'm my brother. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Yeah. But then with them, we'd had the conversation prior saying, if I do well, I'll sign a 2-year deal. Yeah. The money wasn't great because they're not a very rich club, but it's local Manchester and they were playing in League One at the time. Yeah. The opportunity is amazing, more than the money. So before I left the office, he turned around to me and said, I want basically, I was meant to be there for the week. the conversation ended with me being, he's now saying, yeah, you've got 3 days to impress me, and if you do well in them 3 days, I'll give you a 1-year deal. So he's halved.
But originally it was, you got a week there and then you're going to get a two-year deal.
So these are things that, so imagine me now going into training, what's my mindset going into training after that conversation?
Yeah.
Same thing, I didn't get a correct opportunity. He didn't, like, we're doing, I'm a striker or an attacker, but yeah, he's putting me with the midfielders to do midfielders drills and like the whole thing just didn't give me a fair chance. So that didn't happen. And then a couple months later, a couple months have passed, but this time I'm just running on my own, training but you can only stay motivated for so long.
Yeah, of course.
And then this time, a friend of mine, because one of my friends was at Swindon, a goalkeeper at the time, so he's got me the manager's number, so I spoke with the manager. Same thing with him, Mark Cooper. Is like, yeah, okay, cool. Come down, you can train with us for 2 weeks. I'm thinking, yeah, like 2 weeks is more than enough, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm thinking, sick. This is like a couple of months after. And then next minute, he calls me, same thing, the day before I go down. He's like, oh, Henoc, I'm really sorry, but you won't be able to come in on trial. The chairman, he's looking to basically bring in some other players, and we don't want any trialists in and stuff like that. We're taking people in from, like, on loan instead.
Yeah.
3-4 days later, tell me how they bring in 3 players from Liverpool on loan.
From Liverpool?
To Swindon. Like...
Yeah, someone's blacklisted you. You've been completely
blacklisted. Yeah, so I lost my head.
Yeah.
Like, lost my head, and then I was speaking to one of my friends while I was at Liverpool the year before, a kid called Yulani Bayo. So I'm telling him what's happened to me at Swindon. And he's like, bro, the same thing happened to me 2 weeks ago. And then he's like, actually, when I was on the phone to him, his agent was there. And he's like, oh, like, who's that? Is that Henoc? He goes, oh, put me on the phone to him. So the agent's like, oh, like, yeah, like, he's now the one that's telling me that, look,
of course,
you've been blacklisted. So I'm now going to take my player, I'm going to take him abroad. Because I've been trying to get him clubs in. Bear in mind, this kid who was trying to get clubs for, he was a Portugal international. They bought him from Sporting Lisbon. Everybody, and then the same thing Alex done to me, done to him. Like, absolutely ruined him. And then, so he's turned around to me and said, when I was trying to pitch Bayo to another club and to Leighton Orient, one of the chairmen turned around to him and said, oh, the ex-Liverpool, we don't touch them. Talking about, like, Bayo, because then mentioned there's a couple of others. There was me, I think there was like 4 of us. Who, like, now
bomb squad.
Basically the bomb. Basically the bomb squad. So like I said before, the bomb squad. He named like 2-3 players that are that. Like, we've all been, because I was literally trying to call up every single club in the country. Like, literally every single club. People, like, other agents aren't looking to help me out. Like, they're just trying to squeeze as much as they can out of me, thinking, you know what I mean? So that's happened. And I just, like, lost my head. Like, literally.
Like, I don't think I would have gone as far as you.
Like, that's what a lot of people
still trying. I
was trying. Like,
a lot of people would have just given up, and a lot of people, they would have probably fallen into depression.
That came,
and so, but there's got to be a point where, like, you're playing football from Liverpool from when you're 13 years old. There's got to be, and then now you're not. It's normal for people to get released if they're not good enough, or they're like stuff. You're being blackballed because of stuff that isn't even of your fault. So that's like even more of a reason to, like, probably fall into depression or like feel like
because I felt like I'd exhausted myself. Of course. I didn't know what else to do. So I was speaking to my friend about this actually, then I said, you know what's actually crazy? I spent all my teenage years playing for Liverpool. Like from 13 to 19, I was a Liverpool player. When Liverpool offered me my scholarship, one of the reasons they wanted to move me to the school, I remember like sitting down with them and said, look, we think you can go pro and you can make a good football career, whether it's at Liverpool or not. We think you've got the ability to do it, you've got the mindset, you've got the drive, all that kind of stuff. We just need to give you the right platform, the right path, which is what I said before, like they're trying to take me to Belgium, to America, so I can play all these games. By the time if I'd played in Belgium and America, they'd had like 50, 60 games under my belt. You know what I mean? So they was trying to just give me the right path to make it as a pro, whether it was at Liverpool or not. So I always had it in my mind that
you're gonna end up
I'm gonna play professionally, whether it's at Liverpool or not. So that's why I was still trying after all these years. But then it's like, because I'm not getting paid, or the money that Liverpool pay me, I'm using that to go to trials, to hire fitness coaches, to eat right, to travel to places, you know what I mean? So then after, when the money dries out, I'm no longer playing, I need to now get a job. How do I do that?
You don't know, because you've not had a normal job.
You know what I mean? So, like, now I've not got a job. I'm not playing football. I'm just literally in my room, like in a dark room, every single day.
That can't be good for a young person.
Yeah. I was 20 years old, literally like every like dark thought you can think of, like I've been through it. Like they got to a point where I wouldn't wake up, get out of bed until 6, 7 p.m. Or some days I wouldn't even get out of bed until everyone else has gone to bed, and I'd be up the whole night.
Wow.
You get me? Like it was just, I don't even know, like sometimes I don't know how to explain it. It's a mad place, like mad place. Yeah, so it's just like, and at the time you're not trying to acknowledge it to yourself that I'm depressed, or you know what I mean, you're still trying to fight those demons. I'm thinking to myself like, do I even want to be here? Like, who am I? What can I be from that football? Because obviously when you're playing football from that age,
that's
you
all
get
you know.
brainwashed into thinking that's all you are. You know what I mean? So in my head I'm thinking, these teams don't want me. This, you know what I mean? And then it got bad. I remember, so at the time we played against, when I was at Liverpool, we played at behind closed doors game one day against Chester. We beat them like 6-0 or whatever. I remember I scored like 2-3 goals or something like that. Smashed them. And I called up the Chester manager at the time and I was like, look, I'm struggling with a team. You know who I am. We've played against you 3-4 times because Chester and Liverpool not far. Can I just come in for a trial? And the guy said no. This time Chester was in Conference North, I think. The guy said no.
Non-league.
I literally just asked for a trial. The guy said no. Like, literally my head was just like scrambled.
So
like,
what more can I do?
Literally, yeah. And then it got mad because now that I've left the club, no one from the club's called me to see how I am. Yeah. I'd been there since 13. You know what I mean? So I'd been there 7-8 years. Yeah. No one from the PFA had called me. The PFA, I was paid, Professional Footballers Association. They're meant to look after. You know what I mean? They talk about like mental health and well, they've got my details. They've got my number. Like, no one's called me. Like, literally, like I'm telling you, like no support at all. No one's even saying to me like, okay, cool. If football's not going to work out for you, what can you do? What can you?
Aftercare. Yeah. There's no aftercare.
Like, we can help you build a CV. We can help you.
Yeah.
We did college at uni. I mean, not uni. We did college when I was at Liverpool twice a week, but we learned like anatomy and physiology.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that qualification. You know what I mean? So, literally, there was just nothing there. I'd probably say I spent like 2-3 years just depressed between the age of like 20 to 23.
Yeah.
I literally did nothing. I was trying to play like non-league here and there. No motivation, no drive for it. Like, I looked a shell of myself, didn't perform. When you're going there, players are saying to you, oh yeah, you never played at Liverpool. You're not good. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to prove something against you because obviously they know you've been there. Of course. So it's like the motivation to even play against these people. Because I know I've got nothing to prove against them.
Yeah, of course.
But they're going to want to play well against me because of my name and where I've been and things like that. So it was just it was a mad time in my life, you know what I mean? Obviously looking back on that, I can reflect on it. But at that time, so it's like not working, constantly depressed, drinking. Like my health was...
Probably gained a lot of weight.
I lost weight. Lost weight, so I was struggling to gain weight. I was skinny, like fragile, you know what I mean? So it was a hard time. Then it came to a point where me and my dad like got back into contact, started speaking. Obviously, I told him because my dad didn't really know at the time that I was playing professional football like that, you know what I mean? Because we lost contact. So when I got back speaking with him, obviously I explained to him that I played for Congo as well. This and he said, well, do you want to give it a try over here?
In Paris, right?
Yeah, so these times I was depressed. I was like, you know, I got nothing to live for in England. These times I'm thinking mad thoughts anyway. Let me just get myself out of the UK. So I just wanted to I didn't really go there for football. I just needed to clear my head, you know what I mean? So my dad's got a good job, he works out in Paris, you know what I mean? So I've gone there. And then for the first month, my dad just said, just relax, just get your mind right, just take your time, whatever. Don't do nothing physical, whatever, and then we'll sort everything else after that. So I remember just living with my dad. We just be going every day, going for talks and stuff, like trying to get me in a mindset to get myself out of depression. Then after that, I remember I started training with a team called Red Star, Paris Red Star. So they're like the 3rd division or whatever. I was going to initially sign for them, but then they got promoted from the 3rd division to the 2nd division. And at the time, they had like, if you look at it, some dead old stadium. So they needed to pay like millions to a new stadium. So they started playing at Stade de France. So that year, they never signed any players. But then, because I was meant to be someone that they signed, this is where like having people in your ear sometimes is not great. So before I left England, I was working with a certain agent, and obviously he's now telling me that, look, I've sorted it out. Obviously, I understand that Liverpool have been trying to blackball you and this, that, the other. But don't worry, I've got all these teams for you. I've got Newcastle, I've got this team. Like he's telling me like Premier League teams now, because look, you're still 2021. Now it's turned from reserve to under 21s. You know what I mean? And then it's turned into under 23s.
On 23s now,
So it's like, look, you can still play reserves and this, that, the other. Because at Liverpool, I remember when we was under 21s, Alex and I'm like, well, you're 20 now, you're going to be 21, so you're too old. Yeah. Now it's turned into under 23s. Like, you can come back. Newcastle, Southampton's, all these teams, Stoke, we can get you through to them. So I'm like, okay, do you know what? Playing reserves is easy. Like, you know what I mean? So, like I said, once I stopped training with Paris FC, my uncle is good friends with Kipembe's dad.
Because the Congolese link.
Yeah, so all the Congolese community in Paris basically all know each other. And then Kipembe, like I said before, we'd met through the Congo system. So I kind of already knew who he was and whatever not. So he's played for Congo before he was playing for France. So my uncle basically got me a trial with, I don't even call it a trial, it was just like, I just basically, one day he just called me and said, look, you're going to play a game tomorrow with PSG. But it was like, the way they explained it, so I didn't understand it. So, you know, like how they have like Barcelona 2. And it's the same thing with PSG. So we don't want to call it PSG 2. It's like PSG 2. But where they was training at the time, this was like 5-6 years ago, some dead pitch. So when I've turned up, obviously they've turned up in like the little like van and stuff like that. And then obviously Kipembe's come over, like said safe, whatever. And then there's another player in Kuku, who's he's playing in Germany somewhere now. So these like they were still in the reserves at the time. So I've gone there. We've played against what's the team we played against? The team that Giroud used to be at.
Montpellier.
No, before that, a team called, I think they're called Tours. FC Tours. So we played against them. We smoked them like 4-0. I've scored 2.
Oh wow.
Gone there and then I've trained like 2 days. 2 days I've trained with them like just trained 2 days. This is a reserve game. So I didn't hear nothing back from the PSG thing just yet, because it was like almost end of the season. But they're like, you've done really well. We'll be in contact. So I didn't hear nothing back from them. But then FC Tours got in contact with me, and then they've said, come down. Like, let's see how you was, etc. But I've gone there and trained with the first team now, and it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. So with their first team, it was very physical, and I wasn't up to that level of fitness. So when I trained with PSG's reserves, the fitness was calm. But I went up with those first team, they was solid. There was, I think, in the second division, but it was like proper solid. So I wasn't really up to the fitness levels and stuff like that, which obviously I understand. But obviously with how well I did against the reserves, they've probably seen something. So when that's happened, obviously now we're still waiting on the PSG thing. So nothing's come off it after like a month. But obviously these times it's like May, June. And obviously pre-season in the UK is about to start in July. So this agent's now in my ear. Like, come through, this, that, the other. I'm going to get you this, I'm going to get you that, I'm going to get you this. So I'm thinking, cool. And these times I'm running every day. I'm training, you know what I mean? My cousin out there is a fitness coach, he's a PT. Like getting me in good shape. I'm in the gym, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not come back to the UK in, I think it might have been like August times. Because I'm thinking, okay, maybe the options in Paris are dead. So I'm now in the UK and I'm training. So the PSG get back to you then after that? So I've come back to the UK now and I'm training myself, and what the agent was saying to me, basically, I was waiting to go to Stoke. So Stoke, and I think Newcastle was the other one, I think it was at the time. Obviously these times I'm 21, I'm thinking like, okay, like this could be me back in the game, you know what I mean? I've done a couple of bits in Paris. And so when this is happening, I'm waiting on obviously Newcastle and Stoke. So basically I started working with the guy that was his agent at the time, got in contact with my dad and said, look, like PSG want Henoc to come. Not even to do a trial, like to basically do a medical, you're going to sign straight in with the reserves. But obviously I've told this agent in the UK that, like, look, I think I might go back to Paris because obviously PSG, you know what I mean? But these times I think it was like 2015, 16, I can't remember one of the two. But obviously PSG's not as big as they are now.
They've got Messi now.
You get me? But I mean, but
imagine it could have been Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and Henoc Mukendi.
Imagine.
Today, imagine.
But yeah, so we'd so like I said, so my dad got like calling me, look, saying the agent saying that they want you basically. And these times it just got Kipembe, a new deal, and this is when Kipembe pushed up into the first team that year, that season. So this like 2-3 months before I was playing with him in the reserves. Now he's in the first team. He's like, with you, you're gonna train with the first team, play reserves, but then we're gonna look at it again second year and see how it goes. That's the truth. My dad was saying, look, this agent's saying this, that, the other. You're not even coming for a trial because they've seen enough of you in the game, and you train 3 days with him. But then I got this agent in my ear, like, oh no, you don't really want to do that. Who's really gonna hear you when you play for PSG's reserves? Like, you're gonna be forgotten about in the UK and this, that. But obviously these times I'm still like kind of hell bent on proving myself right in England, because obviously I know that I've been done dirty at Liverpool. So in my head I'm like, so this guy's he's basically saying to me, yeah, bro, just give me another week, give me another 10 days. Like, Stoke is just around the corner, Newcastle's just around the corner, like basically like selling me, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you, basically throwing like random figures at me, you know what I mean? So these times I'm like, oh, do I really want to go back to Paris? Obviously, don't get me wrong, Paris is a fun city, it's lit. But, like, obviously I'd rather live in England at the time, so I'm like trying to weigh things up and the other. So I'm trying to tell my dad, like, oh, like, I'm trying to buy as much time as possible. So, okay, give me a couple of days, I'll make a decision. And in the end, they just came back and said, like, oh, we're pulling a deal off the table. And my dad, I remember at the time, my dad didn't speak for like 6, 7 months, 8 months after that. My dad was fuming, like raging. And then
so you basically didn't turn down the PSG deal, but you basically missed the PSG deal.
Yeah, I missed it
because you're waiting to sign for Stoke.
Or
yeah, how mad that sounds.
That's what I mean. So at the time, I think they were the Prem. It might have been the Prem, I think, at the time.
Maybe,
or Newcastle. So it was Stoke and Newcastle. So I'm basically waiting on two of them. So, and it was a legit thing as well, because I was having back and forth dialogue with the club. We'd been there, like we'd been down to Stoke, been up to Newcastle and stuff like that. But we were just waiting on like a yes or a no. And obviously, like with football in the UK, sometimes these things can take weeks. Whilst with that one, it was just like, calm down, you know what I mean? But obviously, looking back, this is why I always say to people, like, when you never make decisions when you're down or when you're angry, because you'll always, guaranteed 9 times out of 10 you'll make the wrong decision. So, and obviously, I had this guy in my ear. Obviously, he was in my ear because he knew he would have made money from me signing with obviously and obviously probably didn't want to lose me going abroad. So when I've done that, me and my dad, like we felt like quite big over that, because he'd done a lot of like a lot of the groundwork, contacts, getting me to train with Paris FC and Paris Red Star and all them months. So so me and my dad didn't speak for a while after that. Obviously we've been speaking now, obviously, but then it was a bit mad. And then like a month later, I'm still waiting on season started now. So when like now in September, end of September, and I'm thinking, and then next minute this agent just ghosted on me. The same agent that was telling me to turn this down,
hold out on turn out PSG,
ghosted on me, like blocked me on social media, or blocked my number, this, that, the other. And then, like I said, I'm now left with the same options before I went to Paris, which is nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing. And then after that, a non-league manager got in contact with me because I put out a certain tweet. This was like years ago. I tweeted something about like being down and like the football system, like agents. It was basically like a cry for help, basically. Because I don't know. I'm thinking, you know, at the time I must have had like 6,000-7,000 people on my Twitter. I thought, you know, if someone could help me, you know what I mean? And then a manager, a guy called Liam Watson, hit me up because he used to be my brother's manager a couple of years before that at Southport. So he's hit me up and I look, how's it going, kid? You okay? This, that, the other. Like, what's going on? So I've explained to him and said, okay, cool. Come train with us at Staley Bridge, which is like a little town in Manchester. Like, I'll give you a year's deal on 300 quid a week, 200 quid a week. I'll just part time. Hopefully, we can get you back up and running and training twice a week. So these times, I'm now going into part-time football now. While 6 months before that, I could have been PSG. You know what I mean? But now this is the first time I'm ever playing part-time football. This is the first time I'm ever training twice a week. Before that, since the age of 12, 13, I was training every day. You know what I mean? So now the levels of how much of what I can do or how I can improve and things like that is just low. I'm making enough so that I don't work 'cause I'm still only 21 or whatever. But it's what do I do the rest of my day? Because I'm just waiting around just to go to training in the evening. You know what I mean? Which is now my sleeping pattern's messed up. Yeah. I'm not quite performing because I'm not eating right. Because obviously we had nutrition at the club and stuff. So everything was just, and I'm still depressed. You know what I mean? But obviously I'm trying not to acknowledge that I'm depressed. But yeah, so then after that, didn't have a great season there at all. Liam himself, the manager, got sacked after 6 games into the season. Then I played a couple of them games, played on the left. New manager comes in, he got rid the manager came within 3 weeks of him being in there. This is how like mad non-league football is. Within the manager being there 3 weeks, he got rid of 10 players.
Wow.
Got rid of 10 players and he signed 11 from his old club in non-league.
That's mental.
Like,
and were you part of the 10?
I was part of the 10. Straight up. I was trying to like free up some cash, but straight out the door. Same thing with that. Like, got paid off whatever the part of the deal. Yeah. And then after that, it's just, like I said, it was just dark stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, no help from no one, and just, like, it's hard to explain, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, you don't want to associate with certain people. Like, I stopped speaking to a lot of my friends that I used to play football with. Yeah. Like, just a lot of things, you know what I mean? So, like, I remember I didn't see certain people for years and that the other, like, isolated myself from social media. So it was just...
You must have felt really alone as well.
Yeah, very alone. And not many people would understand, especially back then where social media wasn't as big as it is now either, you know what I mean? The talks of mental health weren't as big as they are now, you know what I mean? So I don't know what's going on in my head. I don't know how to even have the courage or the strength to speak about it to people and say, look, this is what's happening or whatever, or to get help. So that went on for like 3-4 years. And as I said before, like, it's one of them where I think I just came to the decision that, look, you know what, I took some time out. There was one day, like, it got so bad that literally I used to, like I said before, I'd just be up at night. So I'd just put my headphones on and just go for a walk in the middle of the night. What I'd think about, I don't know. Like, I was just lost in my head, you know what I mean? And then I had to start taking my time to basically, like, read books, exercise, go jogging, whether it's a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. Because I knew I'm naturally fit anyway. 10, 20K, 30K, normal. Yeah. But I've got to take the baby steps, getting back in the gym and doing this. And then I've now, like, started to, like, learn about myself, what makes me tick, what my tolerance levels are, what I can put up with, what I can't. I think these are things we're not really taught as kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you don't know what you can do. So when people are pushing to a certain limit, it might break you. You know what I mean? Which eventually it did with me. So obviously, like I said, I'm taking my time, learning about myself, and then I just come to the conclusion that obviously after years of me like trying to play non-league and still trying to make it, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's like, obviously, I know I'm talented enough because you don't stay at a club like Liverpool for 7-8 years if you don't have the ability.
100%.
But the opportunities and everything that I've seen throughout, I'm probably not the first player it's happened to. Yeah. And I'm definitely not the last because I know 10 players that similar things have happened to since it's happened to me. Yeah. So I just kind of took like the decision to stop trying to chase the professional football dream because for me it's like, one, I'm wasting time because I'm only getting older, even I'm only 27, and 2, one of the reasons I decided to take football serious is because I want to improve my family's life. Like, I'm from Congo, you know what I mean? I've really seen what it's like to have nothing. You know what I mean? I've seen like kids walking barefoot in the street. I used to be one of them, you know what I mean? I've seen real poverty. I've gone days without food, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So I know about all that. So I literally had to like dig deep, look into myself and say, all right, cool, what, like, who are you really? And what do you want out of life? And then the things that I want out of life, I can get them other ways than just playing football.
Yeah, you don't have to be doing football.
Yeah, I wasn't stupid in school. I was quite smart. Yeah. I got all my GCSEs, even though I moved schools in year 11, I still got enough GCSEs. I got grades to get myself into uni. So I ended up like signing up into a uni course for like 2 years. I dropped out after that, but I did like business management in uni with marketing. So like there was a lot of things, like it took time to like build myself up. You've got to like mentally like build yourself up. So like I said, reading books, eating right, trying to sort out my sleeping pattern, which is still not sorted till today. But it's just like little things, you know what I mean? Having the right people around me. Like now, like when I stopped playing for Liverpool, I used to think I had loads of friends.
Yeah.
My friendship group decreased in size. Like I've got, say 5, 6 like people I can be like, yeah, that's my friend. You know what I mean? Like it was just a crazy time altogether. But like I said, I had to sit down, take time, listen to the right people, because there was some people that was giving me the right information. You know what I mean? And saying the right things to me, which I did eventually take on. And I looked at it and I thought, okay, cool. I'm still passionate about football. I still play five-a-side at least once or twice a week with my friends now because I love playing football. So that still fills that void, you know what I mean? And the people that I play football with are people that have been in similar situations. So it's always like good standard or whatever. Not. But the position that I'm in now, obviously, like I said before, when I left Liverpool, I didn't even know how to write a CV. You know what I mean? Now I'm working full time, but I'm now trying to get myself back into the football industry to help players that are going through similar things as me, through dark times, whether it's racism, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety. These things don't get spoken about enough in football. And I've been around enough football players to know that majority of football players are literally depressed. Like it's I wouldn't say it's a fake lifestyle because it's not, because the money is real and
of course.
But a lot of things is you put on a certain pedestal, and at any given moment it can be pulled away from you. A lot of things are superficial, and certain people will be, you know what I mean? So I've gone through that, like I said, with friends, people pretending they're your friends, and when you've got nothing, they're not there. And a lot of people do go through these kind of things. So, obviously, like I said before, I got a podcast as well. Now we talk about mental health. We talk about the dark side of things.
You guys should check it out, really. It's called Athlete and Culture, right?
Yeah, Athlete Culture Podcast, So
check it out. So the links are in the description. So
thank you. So I do a lot of that. I'm soon going to be starting a lot of mentoring as well. So I'm going to be going into clubs, speaking to them about how they should be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like competition is good in football. Competition,
of course, always.
I've been in change rooms where we've had arguments. That's normal. You know what I mean? But how coaches, their approach to players, because especially in youth football, you're 18, 19, but you're still a kid. You know what I mean? You're still not fully developed yet. Your mind's not fully developed yet. So the ethical side of it and how you treat people, because looking back at it now, all this could have been wiped out. Let's say when I got back from Northampton, if Alex Singlethorpe turned to my team and said, look, you've done well at Northampton, you've come back to Liverpool, but things have changed. I don't really play with big strikers, or you're not really in my plans, this, that, the other, so we're going to pay you off. I'd have been like...
Everything would be different today,
I'd still be playing professional football till this day, guaranteed. 100%. I'd be like, okay.
It could be 27, peak of your career.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd have just been like, okay, cool, thanks. I respect your opinion, I expect the honesty. I'll go somewhere else, that's not a problem. But when you're stringing people along and you're giving them no option to grow, basically, to improve, to grow, to do anything, then that's where it leads people down to. When you're cutting off, I've left the club, but then you're cutting off my opportunities to do things and whatnot. That's where it leads people down to. And I always say that I'm lucky I went through this at 20, 2021, because like we've seen with the kid at Man City last year with Jeremy Whiston.
That took his own life,
That triggered me, you know what I mean? It really, really did trigger me because he was young, you know what I mean? So I'm lucky that I didn't go through that at 16, 17. And I always say to people, especially with like coaches that I speak to now, I always say to them, the ages between 16 and 21, those 5 years are the most crucial in youth team football. Not due to ability and stuff like that, because players can always improve, but it's the ethics side of things, and I think a lot more needs to be done. Whether it's pumping more money and getting more player liaisons in them, the player liaisons, understanding the mental side of it, understanding early signs. So I was speaking to Clive Cook at Norwich the other day, and he was explaining to me how he's done like courses, he's got like qualifications in noticing depression in players. He's giving me examples, noticing anxiety in players. So something that could be like a normal person might not see, he picks up on it. So he'll ask the right questions and this, that, the other. And he says that he only wishes that he'd done these things when we was there, you know what I mean? And that's like a good conversation. It's good to see that obviously he's kicked on with that as well. But a lot of other people haven't. A lot of people, I know there's players now still at Liverpool, still at Man United, still at Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal's, who are going through literally through depression at some of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
But it's not been picked up. Nothing's been done about it. Not by the agents, not by the players. I mean, not by the clubs, by the managers or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So I think like that for me is something that I'm really, really passionate about, like the ethics and the mental health in football.
That's amazing.
And I always encourage people to talk. You know what I mean? Just talk.
That's why we do this.
Yeah,
that's why you do this as well.
Yeah, it's freeing. And a lot of people like always think like, oh, if you talk about your mental health, then you're weak. Then you're not strong.
Not the case, by the way.
Yeah, so some of the strongest people or some of the most talented people go through the craziest things.
Yeah,
you'll never believe. But I always encourage it's relaxing. You're getting all the weight out of your mind. You know what I mean? So for me, like going forward, that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm trying to get myself in there, whether it's mentoring players, speaking with players. So like I said, if you're a player out there, young player, you're in a big club, or even a small club, and you are struggling, like try and speak to anyone out there. Even reach out to me. Like I'm always very accessible on social media. If you need someone to speak out to, I've got connections with the right people. Whether you need help, whether you need to speak to someone at PFA or whatever, or whether you even need someone to speak to your club. Because when I was at Liverpool, I needed someone to come have my back and speak to the club for me. And I've recently been going into clubs and speaking with them, mentoring players. And like I said, and I always say to these players, I said, look, if there's something that you feel like you can't say to your club, say it to me. Like I'll happily come in on your behalf and articulate things in the right way, so that obviously you're not feeling ashamed or scared to be able to put it out there. Because I think if that happened, then more players would stay in the game longer, and then they wouldn't be depressed or down, or because there's like articles about it, like about how many like players, once they drop out of these clubs, they never play football ever again. And that's not down to ability at all. It's always down to the mental pressure and the mental torture that they go through.
There's people that are academies from 6 years old and then they suddenly get dropped at 18, whatever.
I've got so many friends at Liverpool.
What do you do then?
Half of my team that I was with at 13, they'd all been at the club since they was 6, 7. Half of them not play football no more. Like, some of them played for England. They don't play football anymore. And that's not down to their ability, but it's always down to the mental side of it, and not enough emphasis is put on that, or not enough studies or anything like that, you know what I mean? So I think like over the next maybe 10, 15 years, you're going to see a rise in that, so like mental health, coach roles, and whether it's psychiatrists in football, because I've worked with like sports psychiatrists when I was at Northampton. I worked with a what's the name of it? It's like a therapist. Like a sports therapist and stuff like that. But it's like they find a way of like fine tuning your mind. So like, because it's trust me, it's difficult to be concentrating. Like every single day for that long on football, because you've got things that happen in real life. You know what I mean? You could have an argument with your partner. You could be going through stuff with family. Your mum could be ill. You know what I mean? Like life happens. Whilst you're playing professional football, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's hard to shake off those things. Yeah,
you're human as well. People just see us footballers, you're human as well.
Exactly. So working with the right kinds of people that can understand these things and help you to basically find a way of filtering them, you'll see people being more successful in terms of like they playing careers. You're going to see more competition. I feel like you'd see more competition if everyone was mentally sound. You'd see a lot more competition. You'd see a lot more like just more positive things, really, you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely something that's coming from.
And I like that, and I do think you're on the right path, and that is something that is definitely going to help the world of football. And I think when it's all said and done, I think you're going to achieve more off the pitch than you probably ever would have achieved on the pitch if you made it professional. So like, I think it's great what you're doing, and it's great that even with that much setbacks and that much disappointment, you're still willing to help other people that could be in the same position that you went through, and not have that kind of stuff happen to them, and mental health, and it's very, very, very important. I like that. And what I wanted to ask is, obviously, like you're talking about mentality, mental health, and stuff like that. If I go to in the positive sense, because obviously we spoke about a lot of like how it affects you in a negative sense. In the positive sense, obviously going back to people like Raheem, who you played with, and they've made it at the very top of football. Like you can't get much higher than what Raheem has achieved.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like he's Man City, he's won the Premier League, he's Euros main guy. Did you see that from when he was young?
Yeah, so this is what I like to, it's almost like, so obviously I've not made it to the pinnacle that I've wanted to make it, but I've played against a lot of top pros, and I've played with people that haven't made it. So I've been able to do like a case study almost in my head. So I've seen the qualities that people have, whether it's the personality, attributes, this, that, the other, that makes a lot of these people, if that makes sense. So for example, like you said, that Raheem hasn't only just made it, he's made it to the
highest.
So if you still ask a 7-year-old kid, what's your dream? I'd love to play in the Premier League, win the Premier League,
play for my country,
play for England, score at Wembley.
He's done all of that.
All of that. Boom. You know what I mean? So he's everyone's dream. Even other pros that are playing for England now would want.
Still want what he said.
Exactly.
So he's the best case study.
He's the best case study. And in a sense, I could probably be, I'd say, the worst case study, because it's when you're doing everything right, but then it just
doesn't work out.
So sometimes, and I use that in a positive way. So when we was at Liverpool, so when we first met him, so he was like 15. He used to tell me that he'd win the Premier League.
Raheem would say, I'm going to win the Premier League.
I'm going to win the Premier League one day.
When he was 15.
When he was 15. Like, he'd say it. But then it's not like he'd say it with so much conviction. And I remember, like, some people in the team would be like, oh, how are you going to win the Premier League, lad? You're playing for Liverpool. These times Liverpool, we went, the Liverpool out, we was dead. Like, our first team was dead back then. So we was like, we was washed. But he'd always say it. I'm going to find where there's there's a will, there's a way. And trust me, believe me, this is 15-year-old Raheem, so this is probably 11 years ago. He's saying, I'm going to win the Premier League. One way or another. Smashed it, played first team at 17. Smashed it, got bought for 50.
Almost won the league with Liverpool. Literally. It's close.
Or close, like, and it just didn't just play first team, it set the Premier League alight. You know what I mean? Set the first team alight at Liverpool. Like I said, then got the big move to Man City. What does he do? Doesn't just get the big move. He goes there and becomes basically one of their main men. You know what I mean? Him, Aguero, De Bruyne. You know what I mean? So that happens now. He wins the Premier League. He's won it 2-3 times. He's made it happen. Played for England since the age of like 18, 19. Made it happen. He was the main man for England, the Euros. Main man for England. You know
the World Cup 2014. World Cup as well.
Yeah, when he'd have been what? He'd have been 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was starting.
19. Yeah. Starting. So, like, and all that, it comes with a belief. And from what all my years been in the academy, that kind of belief, that like positive belief, it gets killed. Whilst you're playing football in these academies. Sometimes by coaches, don't get me wrong, because a lot of coaches said, like, stay level-headed. And let people, when they're playing for these clubs, let them dream, let them reach for the sky. So that's one thing that happened with a lot of our players. We was getting told, like, just stay level-headed, stay humble. And I always say to people, the staying humble thing is about not thinking you're better than anyone else. But if you're saying, look, I'm going to win the Prem, I'm the best player that I can be, because Raheem never used to run and be like, I'm better than him. He used to be like, I believe in my ability. I back myself. If Raheem has a bad game, he'll go home, analyze it, watch it, and he's fine the next day. Like, he knows what he's done wrong. He watches it, and he was doing this since the age of 15, 16. Like, I used to see it. Like, we'd be playing under 16s and 18s games. He'd take a DVD home or whatever.
Mad.
Watch it. Boom. Like, certain players
so
would take
it's no coincidence he's where he is now.
Exactly. It's not a coincidence. While certain other players, they'd be sulking for a week because they had a bad game last week. By the time the next Saturday comes, you're still
in your head.
About
the last game.
He's boom. The next day he's moved on. He's like, alright, cool. It happens, but alright, cool. Next time I'm gonna do this, that, the other. I know I did this wrong, and it could be okay. Maybe I prepared wrong. You know what I mean? I didn't get an hour's sleep. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, he used to, and we'd have these conversations. You know what I mean? Since a young age, and he used to analyze his own games. Like, okay, what can I improve? Okay, in this one, I scored this goal because I'd done this. You know what I mean? Every little like details and stuff like that. He's done it. So when people, so it always makes me laugh when people are like, all he's got is just a bit of pace. Like, no,
I could tell, because even when he was at Liverpool, he was very fast. He was good dribblers. He had everything, but he couldn't finish. Now he was a couple years ago scored 30 goals in a season. He's scoring now. He's one of their leading main goal scorers. So you can see he works in everything he's not good at, and that's what you need.
So that's what I mean. So with stuff like that, like, it starts with the belief. I think I watched a documentary with one of his, old Sunday League coach. he was talking about saying like when Raheem was young, he was talking about a belief when he was like 11, 12, and I'm like, that same thing that he was talking about, I seen that from the day he signed for Liverpool. He was saying, I'm going to win the Premier League. This time we're thinking like, you're playing for Liverpool, like we're not even challenging. We're in Europa League right now. You know what I mean? So obviously he knew his destiny. That look, I'm gonna smash it here. Someone big's gonna buy me. This is my path. Forget everyone else's like path. This is me. Like nothing's gonna stop me from getting to where I need to be. Because there were times, don't get me wrong, in the youth team where managers would challenge him, or certain people would be like try and like hold him back from certain things, and he like exceeded. You know what I mean? So do you remember that game where he scored 5?
First team level?
No, for youth team.
Youth team.
So these times he was 16. So
I think I heard about this. I think
against
I heard about this
Southend,
one.
So we beat Southend 9-0.
Yes. It was an FA Youth Cup.
Yeah, so Raheem was 16, I think, at the time. So he was playing 2 years up.
Yeah, I remember this.
He played with us, and then the funny thing about that game is, he scored 5. We're in the wrong boots.
What do you mean wrong boots?
So Raheem, up until like the whole time, he used to wear vapors.
Vapors
with people. And then an incident happened. Basically just didn't have no boots. Like no boots, like his size, whatever. And then his agent obviously he was coming to the game anyway, but he had to drive down from London much earlier to bring him a brand new pair of his own size fitted boots. But they weren't vapors either. There was what they call the Tempo Legends.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's a different style of boots. Obviously, I understand that a pair of boots is a pair of boots, but when you're playing at a certain level, it makes a lot of difference. So they're not pacey boots. They're not for fast wingers or anything like that. Those kind of boots, the Tempos.
I used to wear Tempos.
So compared to the vapors are light. So the Tempos, he wore the Tempos and scored 5. And then the funniest thing before that, we was talking about like, he's gonna say, he was literally saying, I'm gonna smash it. And I'm gonna get an opportunity with the first team. This time he hadn't played the first team game or anything. And that game, we're in the wrong boots. He scored 5. 2 days later, he's training with the first team.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that shows his ability.
The ability and the mindset. Yeah. The mindset more than anything.
That could affect someone like, these boots don't feel right. I'm not playing well.
Yeah.
I was that kind of player. Obviously, I didn't play nowhere near the level of you guys, but I was that kind of player. If the kit doesn't feel right, like if it's tight on me, if it doesn't feel right, I'm not playing well. His
shorts, arm length, everything.
I'm being for real. I've been wearing the same shin pads since I was 15. Till today, I've had the same shin pads since I was 15. If I lose my shin pads and I get a new pair, someone gives it to me, I don't know if I could play well. Cause that's gonna be in my head. Yeah, like I'm gonna have a mare. But it's true. Like, and maybe the mentality is different. But yeah, it's and boots are a bigger thing. Like shin pads. It's
exactly. Because
it feels different.
Yeah,
I mean, comfort. Like it's mad. So, and I rate that. I rate that.
That's what I mean. I like to use him as a case study because of what he's achieved, and it's very, very intentional. Like it's planned, if anything. So, in his head, I'm going to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
What kind of ability, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of this, that, do I need to be living, or what do I need to be doing to make sure that I'm in a position to win the Premier League?
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, he's also elevated his game. Obviously, I understand Pep Guardiola's an amazing coach. Don't get me wrong, one of the best in the world. But if you don't have the ability and the mindset to be able to improve. So like I said, Leroy Sané was there. So they're similar kind of position.
Yeah, same position.
Both fast, both wingers, both young.
Yeah.
Both a similar price tag as well. So there wasn't anything out way. So it's either it's who's gonna basically sink or swim.
Yeah.
And obviously from what we've seen,
saw it as a challenge,
Yeah. So he rises to the occasion. He doesn't shy away from a challenge when you're talking about in terms of mindset and ability. So this is what I try to, when I'm speaking to younger players, I'm like, look, you wouldn't be here in this club, whether you're at Liverpool, whether you're at Exeter, whether you wouldn't be in this professional setting right now if you weren't good enough.
100%.
So, you practice on your ability every single day and you will improve regardless. But what's in your head?
That's the difference between being good and great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
And I even use myself as an example. So when I was 11, so before I signed for Liverpool, we trained at Liverpool Academy one time. So in my school, we did like a tour of like the Northwest.
Okay.
And we trained at Liverpool Academy when I was still living in Sheffield.
Yeah.
And I remember I went back to school and I was saying to everyone, literally, all my friends always say to me this till this day, I was, for like 6 months after that, all I kept saying is, I'd love to play for Liverpool one day. 2 years later, I'm not even living in Sheffield, I'm in Manchester, but I'm playing for Liverpool.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think after that, because we watched our age group train, and I seen how much better they were than me, and I was like, rah, like the levels. And after that, I always used to play like with like the older lads in my area and stuff like that. So I was always wanting to improve. Okay, I knew that I need to be in academy. So what do I need to do in academy to be fitter than everyone else? I need to be doing this and to be doing that. So I had that as well as a young player. Somewhere along the line, it got killed. It got like, and sometimes it could be other players. Other players will try and kill your dream so they can get ahead of you.
It's very competitive.
He's not good.
Of course.
I've been in change rooms where like there'll be people, could be two centre mids, and then he'll be like, he'll be in the corner of his mates, he's not good enough. But the other person's hearing it and he's thinking, why did you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a lot of egos in the football change room. So it could be other players that kill your confidence and your belief in yourself. It could be parents. It could be other people's parents. It could be coaches more than anything as well. You know what I mean? Like little comments that coaches make, people take that on. But if you know yourself and you know your mission,
but then that is hard for a teenager to know themselves.
Exactly.
At that age, you don't know yourself yet.
Exactly.
You're not. I get it as a man, or like you're like, I know myself. Like I'm not gonna let what this person says about me get to me. Cause I know who I am. But at 15, 16, you don't know who you are.
Exactly.
Those comments are gonna get. You need to be one in a million. Do you know what I mean? To be mentally strong at that age, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. Yeah. So that's why like I use these. Like I said, I'll tell you about the races that we faced in school and such. It's just like I said, even me at one point, like I said, up until maybe like when the madness started to happen with Liverpool, that killed my future plans. You know what I mean? I kind of lost sight of where I needed to be. Okay, cool. I couldn't picture myself playing football at 25 when I was going through the depression and the hard times. So when that happened, that the flame was killed. You know what I mean? But if you've got that picture in your head and that, like, okay, cool, this is what I want. Regardless of what happens here, I need to make sure my mind frame is this. I need to make sure I do this, make sure I do that. Because looking back on it now, even when I was going through the madness, like looking back on it, because I'm much older now, I can look at it and think, okay, cool, I should have maybe done this. When Liverpool was trying to do this and that to me, I should have, you know what I mean? Like I should have, like I could have, looking back on it now, there's maybe certain things I could have done to force my way out of the club. Yeah. Whether it made me look bad or not, I'd have been forcing my way out of the club and then getting on with my life, basically. Yeah. Especially within the first 6 months of me leaving Northampton. I should have done that because then I'd still be in 18, 19 because I've seen players do it now with the agents and stuff like that. So looking back on it, but at the time, when you don't know any better, then, you know what I mean? But like I said, that's one thing I try to always preach to like younger players now. You naturally work on your ability every day by training, but you need to work on what's in your head because that's what is going to take you, like, that's what is, what's the word? That's what's in autopilot in the back of your head, how you think of yourself, you know what I mean? How you see yourself in the team, how you see yourself out in the world. It's like Raheem knows that he's more than a football player. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
He's an MBE now as well.
Exactly. So he knows, football is what I do, this, that, the other, but I got a bigger purpose and all this, that, and the other. So this is what I try to teach like other kids. Hey, football is what you do, but who are you as a person? You don't have to be confident in speaking out, but when you get on the pitch, if you know yourself, it'll show. It'll naturally show. And you've got to have the picture in your head. Okay, cool. What kind of career do I want to have? This, that, the other. Don't get me wrong. Certain things might happen, like injuries and stuff like that. But if you focus and you have that picture that, okay, cool. No matter what this manager thinks of me, I'm always going to work hard. I'm always going to do this, that, the other. I'm going to surround myself with the right people. I know sometimes that's hard to do, but I'm always going to get the right kind of help, ask the right questions, all this kind of stuff, and just literally, like, it sounds simple, but know yourself. Like, you'll give yourself the best chance, so whether that's Premier League is your level for your ability, whether that's Championship, League One, and it's the little fine margins as well between League One, Championship, League Two, all these things. It's like, because there's plenty of players in League Two that are rapid, but the touch might not be great. That's why they don't play in the Championship. It's the fine margins, you know what I mean? But then also what keeps you going is your self-discipline and 100%. How you view yourself and how you apply yourself with your work, you know what I mean? So that to me is what I try to preach and teach younger players. It's mental toughness, you know what I mean? And the mental toughness isn't just to be hard-headed and take all sorts of abuse. It's about knowing that this may come, but it's about how you react. It's about knowing that if it gets too much, you're confident enough to say, okay, cool, look, this is too much.
Yeah.
I can't handle this anymore. That's being knowing yourself and being mentally tough, because if you just stay quiet and you take this abuse, you're going to eventually end up depressed and
break you.
It's going to break you, exactly. So
yeah,
I think, so that's what I'm trying to do at the moment, trying to preach. Good. But yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to close on. But literally what he was saying, if you are a young player, and you are a big any level of club, and you're going through anything where you feel alone or you want to talk to someone, he's been through everything. He's been through it all. You've literally, if you've sat here and listened to the last 2.5 hours, you've heard his story. His links are all in the description. Feel free to drop him a message. I'm sure you're more than happy to reply to people and get back to them. So feel free to message him, or if you want, you can message me. I'll forward you on to him and stuff like that. But it's your story is very inspiring. I don't think a lot of people would even be able to continue to still be able to want to do good after all the stuff you've been through. So it's an amazing story, and I'm glad I had you on. I really am, and I'm glad that this is the longest one we've done yet, because you've had like the best story to tell so far. But I'm gonna end it on that. That's been Henoc Mukendi, ex-professional footballer. Now he's mentor, speaker, that kind of stuff. So feel free to check him out. He's got a podcast as well, Athlete Culture. Follow it. Everything's in the description, like I said. If you are watching the YouTube video, make sure you like and subscribe. If you are listening to the audios on Spotify and iTunes, make sure you follow. You hit the bell so you get all future episodes. And that's been the SDS podcast, and see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks.